science in educational leadership. Her research focuses on teacher wellness and marker space. She has been a classroom English teacher, vice principal, and regional manager of educational technology before her current position at an independent school focused on teacher professional learning and teaching a 6th grade innovation lab course. She co-authored Creating a Google Apps Classroom published by Shell Education. She was the California State Technology Administrator of the Year in 2015 and earned a variety of honors including the title of Google Certified Innovator over the course of her career. TETC, together let's welcome Elizabeth Brumble. Ken Morrison has been teaching and leading with educational technology internationally since 2009. Through his experience teaching at universities, K-12 international schools and corporate trainings, he has a unique blend of theory, practice and practical tips to help teachers transform classrooms. Ken has been an active Apple Distinguished Educator since 2013, often presenting at regional and global Apple educational events. He was also part of Google's first Google Champions cohort and Synopsium in 2023. Ken has taught primarily in Heinam University and Busan Foreign Schools in South Korea, as well as Raffles American Schools in Malaysia as a computer science teacher, ICT teacher, new media professor, digital learning coach, and technology integration specialist. He is currently transitioning into a new role of instructional coach. TETC, together let's welcome Ken Morrison. Shohan Chowdhury is the co-founder and CEO of Flint, an AI platform for schools. Top private schools in the US as well as international schools across the world use Flint to provide students with one-to-one AI tutoring. Before founding Flint, Shohan built and sold a video chat company and studied computer science at Georgia Tech. TETC, together let's welcome Shohan Chowdhury. Yano has 6+ years of startup building experience in edtech industry. Founded his first company, Bohubuhi, during his university days, bootstrapped it for 4 years and got acquired by Shikor in a cash and stock deal in late 2021. After heading it for another 2.5 years, he recently exited to build his next venture, Monsha AI, for teachers and educators around the world. Products, customers, and go-to-market are his comfort zone. Finding problems, building solutions, getting them out into the market, and building a meaningful business along the way. TETC, together let's welcome Yano Islampiash. Tajios is a technology advisory, assurance, and implementation professional, offering services in Nigeria, West Africa, East Africa, UK, and US. His consulting practices cut across over 60% of the publicly traded financial institutions in Nigeria, oil and gas, education, multinational, state, and with more than 20 years experience as an AI and IT developer, Professor Dr. Sasa Asofsky has received a PhD from the Department of Applied Computer Science and Informatics, Faculty of Technical Science, University of Novi Sad, Serbia. Since 2004, he has been working as an independent associate for the development of ICT in the guaranteed fund of AP Vojvodina. He is a member or chief editor of multiple boards including Information Science Institute USA, Multimodal Technologies and Interaction MTI International Journal, and many more. Professor Sasa Asofsky is a highly recognized AI researcher in the field of computer vision in industrial quality control, object detection, image understanding, and genetic algorithm in text processing for neural network chatbots. TETC. Together, let's welcome Professor Dr. Sasa Asofsky.
Okay, I'll play this one.
Are you ready to revolutionize education learning? Welcome to Tech and Just 2024, where innovation is inspiration. The theme of this conference is empowering educators, leveraging AI teaching and learning. Join us as we explore AI tools that are transforming classrooms around the globe. Personalize learning to advance data. Discover how AI is empowering us to unlock potential. We are thrilled to present a new line of us which are features a fellow Tajos Professor Sasa Asofsky, Dr. We are here experts. Time-saving tips, transformation using AI for learning and engagement. AI and higher education, pushing the boundaries of learning to navigate integration of AI to all classrooms. The conference offers visualized sessions, immersive workshops, inspiring sessions, meaningful opportunities to fellows and techniques. Don't miss out this opportunity to transform your teaching practice. Register now for the Tech Just be a part of the church. Empower yourself, empower your teachers, empower your students. Leave our power. See you at CC, where the future of begins. Kelvin Gregorio is the Director of Learning Services at St. Joseph Preparatory School in Philadelphia, where he works with teachers, students, and administrators to improve student outcomes. Additionally, Kelvin is a PhD candidate in the Educational Psychology doctoral program at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, where he studies behavioral practice and self-regulated learning in adolescents. TETC. Let's welcome together Kelvin Gregorio. Elizabeth has experience in public and private schools across grade levels from early childhood education through higher education. She holds a doctorate in education and a master's of science in educational leadership. Her research focuses on teacher wellness and makerspace. She has been a classroom English teacher, vice principal, and regional manager of educational technology before her current position at an independent school focused on teacher professional learning and teaching a 6th grade innovation lab course. She co-authored Creating a Google Apps Classroom published by Shell Education. She was the California State Technology Administrator of the Year in 2015 and earned a variety of honors, including the title of Google Certified Innovator over the course of her career. TETC. Together, let's welcome Elizabeth Brumble. Ken Morrison has been teaching and leading with educational technology internationally since 2009. Through his experience teaching at universities, K-12 international schools and corporate trainings, he has a unique blend of theory, practice, and practical tips to help teachers transform classrooms. Ken has been an active Apple Distinguished Educator since 2013, often presenting at regional and global Apple educational events. He was also part of Google's first Google Champions cohort and Synopsium in 2023. Ken has taught primarily in Hainan University and Busan Foreign Schools in South Korea, as well as Raffles American Schools in Malaysia, as a computer science teacher, ICT teacher, new media professor, digital learning coach, and technology integration specialist. He is currently transitioning into a new role of instructional coach. TETC. Together, let's welcome Ken Morrison. Shoran Chowdhury is the co-founder and CEO of Flint, an AI platform for schools. Top private schools in the US as well as international schools across the world use Flint to provide students with one-to-one AI tutoring. Before founding Flint, Shohan built and sold a video chat company and studied computer science at Georgia Tech. TETC. Together, let's welcome Shohan Chowdhury. Yano has 6+ years of startup building experience in edtech industry. Founded his first company, Bohubluhi, during his university days, bootstrapped it for 4 years and got acquired by Shikor in a cash and stock deal in late 2021. After heading it for another 2.5 years, he recently exited to build his next venture, Monsha AI, for teachers and educators around the world. Products, customers, and go-to market are his comfort zone. Finding problems, building solutions, getting them out into the market, and building a meaningful business along the way. TETC. Together, let's welcome Yano Islampiash. With more than 20, Thaddeus is a technology advisory, assurance, and implementation professional, offering services in Nigeria, West Africa, East Africa, UK, and US. His consulting practices cut across over 60% of the publicly traded financial institutions in Nigeria, oil and gas, education, multinational, state, and national governments. Notable of his products are being used in government, faith-based institutions, retail and service companies. Thaddeus is passionate on using technology ethically to solve global real-life issues. Thaddeus is a serial entrepreneur and tech value chain investor. TETC. Together, let's welcome Thaddeus Akindele. With more than 20 years experience as an AI and IT developer, Professor Dr. Sasa Asofsky has received a PhD from the Department of Applied Computer Science and Informatics, Faculty of Technical Science, University of Novi Sad, Serbia. Since 2004, he has been working as an independent associate for the development of ICT in the guaranteed fund of AP Vojvodina. He is a member or chief editor of multiple boards including Information Science Institute USA, Multimodal Technologies and Interaction MTI International Journal, and many more. Professor Sasa Asofsky is a highly recognized AI researcher in the field of computer vision in industrial quality control, object detection, image understanding, and genetic algorithm in text processing for neural network chatbots. TETC. Together, let's welcome Professor Dr. Sasa Asofsky.
All right. TETC. Once again, it's day two. It's day two of TETC. If you are excited to be here, can I get your most favorite emoji in the chat box? Can I get your most favorite emoji in the chat box? It's another day. It's another day for the Tech Enabled Teachers Conference. If you are excited to be here, can I see TETC day two in the chat box? just type it TETC day 2 in the chat box. Where are my people? I know that you are here, and I thank you very much. I've started saying them 100%. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. TETC day 2. Day 1 was packed, and day 2 would be better and more loaded than day 1. If you agree, type TETC day 2 in the chat room. Today is loaded. As you can see on the screen, we have loads and loads of powerhouses in the building, right? A massive lineup of speakers, right? So you are going to get value for your time and even more, right? If you are here, you are either an educator or you have an institution of learning or you are a tech enthusiast. Whichever way, you're welcome to the Tech Enabled Teachers Conference Day 2. As usual, we have 2 sessions in a day, morning session, and then we have the afternoon session, right? You're welcome. This conference is designed to enhance productivity, right? A few recaps from yesterday. From yesterday's, we said that AI is not here to replace, AI is here to enhance, right? If you remember, AI is here to replace, AI is not here to, AI is here to enhance, pardon me, not here to replace, right? So for those of you scared about AI taking over jobs, this should calm your nerves. AI is not here to replace, AI is just here to enhance. If you have a take home from yesterday, please type it in the chat box. Go ahead to type it in the chat box. Let me see if those of you that were here yesterday remember some of the things we talked about yesterday, right? Let me see some comments. I want to see some comments. If you're excited to be here. Now, also, those of us in the WhatsApp group, please, I want us to go to the WhatsApp group and type TETC Day 2 is live. TETC Day 2 is live. We are going to begin shortly. In a matter of seconds, we're going to begin. We're starting with a panel session today that is focused on AI in higher education, right? We're starting with AI in higher education. We have powerhouses, right? As you can see on my screen, they are already ready to go. I'm just the one delaying them for a few seconds so that we can have this conversation going. Now, a few announcements. Like I said, we have the chat room where you can chat. We also have the Q&A section where you can ask your questions, right? We don't want your questions to get missing and mixed up in the chat room. So there's a Q&A box where you can do well to ask your questions. And then after that, there is also there are polls, right? You look out for the polls. As the conversation is going on, we're going to be sharing some polls. So do well to answer them. It will help us get accurate data as to where you are in AI and how we can better work together to see that we take advantage of the AI opportunities, right? And also we want reactions. While the conversation is going on, while the speakers are engaging in conversation, we want reactions, right? If they say things that resonate with you, we want you to, give them thumbs up, the love emojis, the claps, and all that. We want to see reactions and engagement while and as we go, right? Once again, welcome to the TETC Conference Day 2. Like I said, we are having a panel session now, which is about to begin now, right? So if you have not invited your friends, please do well to invite them now, right? They do not want to miss this conference, right? So we're having a panel session. We have 4 panelists, and we have our Honorable Mr. Afelmo Rotimi Abiodun, who is going to be the moderator of this morning's panel session, right? So, like I said, do well to invite your friends. I will be out of your face in the next few seconds. And please, if you have not followed our social media platforms, please do well to follow our social media platforms. It's at TETC Media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then Twitter, right? All right. If you're ready, before I leave your face, one last time, if you're ready, type in TETC Conference Day 2. Let me see it in the chat box, and then we begin the panel session. Type TETC Day 2, TETC Day 2 in the chat box, and then we begin. Let me see the comments. Let me see the comments. I want to see more comments so I know that we are excited. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Excellent, excellent. Excellent. TETC Day 2. All right. All right. TETC Day 2. All right, you can also go to the WhatsApp room to type TETC Day 2, and then we begin. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, EDK. I welcome every one of us to this panel discussion. My name is Rotimi Afelumo, and I'll be the one moderating the panel discussion as we proceed. On the panel today, we have 4 panelists that will be joining us in this panel discussion. We're still expecting one more person, but he actually he and I were supposed to be in one HP launch today, but I told him I won't be able to make it. He also said something about he joining us as the program continues. So, but on the call today, I have Dr. Bossede Iyade Edwards. Her profile is been shared across all our platforms. She's a doctor and she's very well versed in AI and technology integration into education. And then we have Professor Dr. Sasha Asofsky, who is also a lead expert in AI and also in higher education. We also have Mr. Thaddeus Akingbile, who is also a practitioner in that field. And so our discussion today will be bordering around the topic AI in higher education, pushing the boundaries of distance learning and tutoring. And so the format will take today, this session is going to last for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And every speaker will have the opportunity to respond to questions that will be that I'll be fielding. If you also have questions, you can put your question in the chat groups, and then we'll take your questions accordingly. So the first section of this talk show or panel would give each of the speakers, starting from Dr. Bosse, 3 minutes to just share your what your take is on AI in education, especially in higher education. What are the things that you feel, and what are your professional intake or take on the use and the role of AI in higher education? And Dr. Bosse, you have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you. And good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, good morning. I don't know, depending on where you are. So I've been introduced. My name is Bossede Edwards, and I'm thrilled to be part of this exciting discussion on empowering educators with AI. I was here yesterday, and I think at least in the morning session, I was on the morning session yesterday, and I'll say it's been so far very inspiring sessions, very good learning opportunities, and I'm really excited to be part of this ongoing discussion. I would say it wouldn't be an overstatement to say that what we are discussing is one of the hottest topics in the world at this time. And I'm very happy that I'm part of this dialogue at this time. And the discussion is actually something that is directly in line with my work as a researcher. I'll say I've spent all my life in the classroom. I was born by teacher parents, so of course I started going to school before I even know what school was about. And so far since then, I've remained in the classroom, both as a learner and as a teacher. The past 5 decades, I think, has given me the opportunity of seeing tremendous changes in education. I've seen, things graduate from blackboards, real blackboards, not metaphorically, real blackboards, to what we are discussing today, AI in education. I believe that students can blossom a lot when they have access to resources and support that matches, their unique learning styles and paces. So I believe that if AI is used thoughtfully, it has the potential to revolutionize learning on a scale that right now we can't even begin to imagine. AI is currently changing learning, but I believe we're just starting. This is just like the tip of the iceberg. I believe it will do much more. But more importantly, I believe it will totally change the concept of school as we know it. Like I mentioned at the beginning, my research is focused on AI in education and the concept of future school. So I believe AI will change teacher roles. It will change the way we do assessments. It will change how we do credentialing. I also believe that as teachers, we bring a human touch maybe it's a spark of inspiration into the classroom. We have the ability to nurture a love of learning that is hard to replicate by AI at the moment. I like to put that because if what is going on in the past 10 years or so is something to go by, I believe we are still going to see some very serious changes in the nearest future. So AI is a powerful ally, is a tool to empower us, as we have seen yesterday and as we are going to see today. And I strongly believe that right now, what educational institutions should be focusing on will be more like teacher training for the future school. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bosse. Without much ado, we'll go to Professor Shasa. The floor is yours. Okay, but before Professor Shasa starts, I'm delighted to also announce that Edwin Lowe is here. I'll bring him on, and then we can continue the conversation. All right, thank you, Edwin. You can unmute yourself, but so Dr. Sasha, you can go ahead and give us your take on what AI is in education.
Okay. Good morning or good afternoon to depend where you are. I'm Professor Dr. Sasha Orsovsky. I'm Dean of the Faculty for AI and Robotics at Raffles University in Malaysia. And what is my view of AI? I'm doing the research related to AI, especially related to AI in education, actively in the last few years. And I think I'm agreed with Dr. Poseda that it will bring the huge changes in the education. But I can see further than that. I think it will change completely education, and we will not have education how we are having now. This kind of education will not exist anymore. With AI-powered tools for the online learning, or with another technologies, not only just AI powering tools, but another technologies. I will later in my speech and through the panel point of the newest technologies that can change not only education, it will change the world. If we are talking about the AI, I think it will be great changes, and yes, it is opening, and I think that will be something that will change the world, not only the education. And all of us as special educators need to be aware that definitely they will be replaced in some aspects of their work. No talk about it. This is a 100% sure. Educators will be replaced in some aspects of their work.
All right, thank you, Dr.
Some aspects will still be done by the humans, but we will in detail talk about it later.
All right, Dr. Sasha, thank you for your contribution. I think we'll move over to Mr. Thaddeus. If you can give us your 3 minutes presentation on what your take is on AI in education, especially in higher education.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I really want to appreciate everyone that has been doing this great job since yesterday. It's been an awesome time. I invited quite a number of people, and I've been getting a lot of feedback for what they experienced yesterday. I must confess that this is a good initiative, and we should keep this up. It's a movement that must not stop. If this is the contribution that we have to the world, then we know the world will be a better place productively. And when talking about AI for me, as a practitioner, as a businessman, as a serial entrepreneur, is an accelerator. We talk about bottom line all the time. Productivity, ability, what we used to do in 1 month, we are able to put our minds together and we can finish from beginning to the end in just 4 hours. Is a productivity tool, is an accelerator. We become better with artificial intelligence modeling into all areas of our life, from customer service to contract packaging to proposal writing, and to even in education for our learnings, our office LMS, learning management system, which eventually goes into performance appraisal and productivity. It's been a wonderful tool that has come into our life. And again, I was going to say that AI for Africa, for example, for those of us who are familiar with the framework of education, the government system of education in Nigeria is 6334. The 6334 is a model that is predicated on one to many, where you have one teacher teaching a lot of students. And what that has resulted into is that you have very, very little of those students coming out as A-star students, where you have a lot of students who don't amount to anything. Invariably, you result in a partially literate community. So you don't have a fully literate community because there is no personalization of teaching. But with AI now, we begin to see that teaching personalization, individualization, and understanding the learning pattern of students can now be achieved with AI. We tried this some years ago where we brought great teachers to speak with many students, because in Africa, you really don't get the best of teachers at every point in time. You have some great teachers who is able to galvanize a few number of students who eventually go ahead to become professors, geniuses, and all that. So what AI can help us to do, when we have star teachers, for example, AI becomes a star teacher that has now, with the ability, the generative ability, the adaptability ability, the accelerative ability, and the teaching ability, you can now personalize for every student. But there is a snag when it comes to Africa: the ability for this technology to penetrate the nook and cranny of our country, the ability for these students to have enough devices to practice, to be able to be accustomed to using this technology. So when we are able to bridge when we are able to bridge the deficiencies, the lack of access to technology, the devices, and bridge it with the availability of the available technology in terms of artificial intelligence, we will have a better country, a better place where we can do virtual training, virtual learning, virtual understanding, and the country bottom line, there will be more productivity individually and at the end back to the government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move over to Edwin before we go to the next segment. Edwin, you have 3 minutes to just tell us your take on AI in education, especially in higher education. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good afternoon or good evening or good morning, depending on where you are. Love these type of conferences where people come from all over the world, converging it at one spot here, right? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
My connection is a little bit weak. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's a really interesting question. AI is not new. It's been around for some time, but it's just that in the recent few years, there's been such rapid developments and rapid changes in AI and the technology and the applications of the technology that has caused a massive disruption in all walks of life, right? In entire societies, and definitely in education. And the disruption is really in the how, the what, the when, the why, and the where, right? For example, AI is disrupting how. Like what Dr. Sasa mentioned, how education is being delivered is obviously disrupting what the content of the education as well. For example, of course, the why, right? As in the purpose of the education. For example, the head of marketing of OpenAI, obviously the company behind ChatGPT, Mr. Zach Kass, he did mention once that this AI and this technology will usher in a period of unprecedented productivity growth, and it will be so useful that humans will have so much free time. People will have so much free time, they wouldn't know what to do with their time. All right. And if that's the case, and a lot of the manual tasks will be automated away, then what are the jobs that are left for our young graduates to do? And that's the purpose of education, right? Is to train and upskill the young generation to ensure that they are able to get gainful employment or to increase their employability. All right. And if AI is changing so fast and changing the nature of work so fast, perhaps education is not matching up as fast in this case, right? The second thing, of course, is the way that conventional education is structured. Most schools, for example, if an individual graduates from university today, this individual probably would have studied for 3 or 4 years at the university, and whatever syllabus or whatever that he's been learning would actually have been written. The syllabus would have been written 3, 4, or 5 years ago. All right, and in today's world, 2 months is an eternity in AI, right? Every 2 months there's something new in the market, and so what is happening is that our young students and the young generation are actually studying things that are already obsolete by the time they come into the workforce, right? So I think AI is a real great disruptor of education, and obviously it presents great opportunities for our young students as well.
All right.
Right. Thanks, Rotimi.
Yeah, thank you everyone for such wonderful contribution on the role and the impact that AI is really taking in education and redefining how we learn and how we teach. We'll move a little quickly into personalized learning. I've had a few of us mention something around being able to leverage AI to do personalized learning. I'll start with you, Dr. Bosse. What can you say in terms of personalization? How can AI tailor education content to individual need, especially in higher education? It's a different ball game in K-12 schools, but we're talking about higher education. Is there really any need for personalization in higher education?
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Mr. Edwin, you're welcome to the discussion. So in terms of tailoring educational content to individual student needs, I think right now we have access to a huge amount of student data at our disposal at every level of education, and more so at higher education. Several years of learning and assessment data within universities and colleges are things that we can leverage. And every year we turn out millions of students across the world, and another set of millions go in, one set goes out. So, and we have student data at higher education level. We have them from elementary school, because when you are applying for admission, everything is captured. So we have data from elementary school, high school, through your admission, through all your years of stay in the college or university. This data can be analyzed by AI to identify strengths and weaknesses, learning styles and preferences. And we can use this to curate personalized learning paths for individual students. We can, like yesterday, there were a number of tools that are being used in K-12 for targeted practice exercises and recommended resources and all that. So I believe this, because within higher education, we also have these types of tools that are specifically designed for application within higher education. One of the biggest challenges we've had with differentiated instruction before now is the skill, the time, and the resources for addressing individual student learner needs. It's just too much demand on the 24 hours that every teacher has. But fortunately, in today's higher education classroom, with the help of AI, we can, at the click of a button, we can create anything that we need for different types of learners in our classrooms. We have several examples of AI tools that support adaptive learning in higher education. Some of us might be familiar with some of them. Newton, Smart Sparrow, Coursera, we have Cookbook, Realize It. Alex is for assessment assessment and learning in knowledge spaces. So some of these tools are being used by some institutions. Maybe our institutions are not yet logging into that. Maybe people are still skeptical, but these are all useful tools that are supporting personalized learning for students. Coursera is one MOOCs platform that we're all very familiar with. Coursera has an AI system now that recommends courses, tailor learning pathways, and provide personalized feedback to students. It's adaptive learning technology adapts the content to individual learner needs and preferences. So it's currently widely used in several higher education and by several higher education students for online courses, degree programs that cross several range of subjects. So there are several others like that. That's just one aspect, because within the higher education, we have the learning part, then we have the research part. So there is also the several tools that are being used for research that are tailored to support research. But then the question is, maybe we'll get to that later, based on personal experience, students are not really doing much better than before these tools came. And why is that? I think we are dealing with another set of serious problems that are coming with the emergence of these tools.
Yeah, we'll get to that along the way. Thank you so much. Dr. Sasha, to just follow up on what Dr. Bosse said, I think the question I'll pose to you is, what are the challenges in implementing personalized learning at scale? How do you scale personalized learning, and what are the challenges that you think that can be faced in scaling personalized learning, especially in higher institutions?
Okay, yes, I agree with Dr. Bruseda, and yes, definitely one direction is to perform the data analysis if we have available all data about the student. But more important, if we want to have a personalized learning, adaptive teaching and learning, we need to enable somehow to AI to have a conversation with the students. We need to have give the AI possibility to talk with the student, to estimate his background knowledge, to create a lesson for him, especially for him, by estimating his background knowledge, and by the choosing what kind of assessment will be personalized for specific students. So not only the type of the teaching and type of the lesson. If we want to reach the total personalized the teaching and learning, we need to also personalize the assessment for each of the students. Yes, it can be accomplished by using any of the AI platforms that are on the market, where AI can see, hear, talk, understand, analyze student answers and student collaboration with the AI, in fact, conversation with the AI. So in that case, we can increase the personal approach and personalization between the AI in the process of the teaching and process of the learning. Of course, we need to have, I think, again, I wanted to repeat, we need to enable communication between the AI and the students. This is the way how we will achieve, together, of course, with the analysis of models, data science, in fact, or data models that we have already, if we have. But the personal touch means conversation with the student.
All right, thank you so much. Edwin, I would put this follow-up question to you. My question will be, how do we ensure that AI-driven personalization does not reinforce existing biases? You know, there are a lot of bias in the industry, ethical biases, traditional biases, some of our preferences. So Edwin is not on the call. Okay, so I'll pass that question to you, Mr. Thaddeus. How do we ensure that when we achieve personalization using AI, it is not reinforcing biases? I think one of the challenges of AI is, as with every manufacturer, or as with anybody that creates a product, whether it's natural or whether it's deliberate or indeliberate, you factor in your biases into your creation. So, and we can see that in the beginning when the ChatGPT, Gemini, all of them, when they first came out with their Gen AI, there were a lot of issues around biases and all of that. So how do we ensure that all of this AI don't reinforce individual biases as we leverage that for personalized learning?
Fantastic. Thank you for this particular question. See, it is known, how do governments, nations, how do they become sovereign and are able to maintain the balance of life and security and all that? There must be frameworks. We must ensure that everybody is galvanized under frameworks such that we are able to ensure that those who develop this model fall within the framework. That is number one. Then this framework must be audited by standards. It must be the traditional approach to solving problem cannot go. We cannot do away with it. It is to bring the knowledge of how we have stabilized security, how we have stabilized payments, how we have stabilized banking into AI. And also to say that those who bear the rule should not play catch up. They should begin to sit on top of what is happening globally, meaning intergovernment collaboration, interinstitutional collaboration, interagency collaboration to come up with standards that these standards shall be followed in every development. Of course, there will be outliers, but the system, the framework must be able to track, must be able to identify where we have those who are not aligning with how these algorithms should be developed. So this is one of the areas that these biases can be reduced or almost eliminated near zero. If we all abide by framework and standard and auditability of all that is done in line with standard, biases will be significantly reduced. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Edwin, if you want to follow up on that, how do we minimize or ensure that AI-driven personalization does not enforce or reinforce biases?
All right. My apologies, it's a little bit noisy here, but yeah, one of the advantage of answering the questions last is most of the time my other panelists, esteemed panelists, have already given most of the answers, right? But yeah, I agree with what Thaddeus is saying, that the framework and the ethics and the standards have to be in place, and governments are obviously governments and obviously the stakeholders. Can you hear?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so I was saying that I agree with Thaddeus that the ethics as well as the standards and the framework have to be in place, and these are actually done by the stakeholders, right? Having said that, obviously right now it is all about big money, which companies are able to spend the billions of dollars in train. Yes, you're smiling, right? So yeah, so. If the boys that are the big companies that are spending the money are the ones that are controlling this large language models and these platforms, and inherently because these companies are predominantly Western companies now, there's a lot of bias in those models, right? So for example, like what Rotimi is saying, if you in the early stages of ChatGPT, if you give a prompt to say, okay, a successful middle-aged individual in a high-flying career, inevitably is always white and blonde, blue eyes, right? So there's no Asian or there's no black successful people.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, right? So, but I think what different countries are realizing now is that they need to invest in it as well. So the different countries in even the less developed countries and the Asian countries, obviously countries like China, but the Southeast Asian countries now investing in both the infrastructure as well as the software. They're investing in the supercomputers so that then they will be able to invest in the building of these large language models as well. And coming down the line, we'll see different countries will also be building their own models and their own platforms. Now, this does not necessarily eliminate all the biasness because they can, each country will also have their own biasness, right? So, but at least what we will have then, we will have more choices. So, like a company like ours, Imagine AI, we are actually hardware agnostic. We are software agnostic. We're not what do you call that, tied to any particular platform or large language model, and therefore we are able to integrate and we're able to choose, the best performing models, the most equitable models, and we are able to integrate accordingly. All right. So that's the question on biasness. But I would like to maybe switch it around and also talk a little bit about the issue of inequity. I know it's not exactly bias, but from I think what you were talking earlier, Rotimi, was the supply side of the technology provider point of view. But from the demand point of view, the technology consumers or technology consumption, there is a lot of inequity as well. And this was a study, I think, was done by McKinsey, which actually showed that obviously those that are affluent are able to afford access to this new technology and access to this education. For example, I think it was intended to organize the global AI competition among the schools, and invariably, the top participants and the top winners are always from the either the private schools or the international schools, or the international colleges, for the reason, that they have more money, they have more infrastructure, they have more access to technology, right, and therefore they have more what do you call it, they have a foot in the game as a step ahead of everybody else. So there's irony where this technology, this AI, is supposed to be an enabler, and it's supposed to be a leveler, right? Where everyone, whether you're rich or poor, regardless of your ability and capability, you are able to have access to this technology. But unfortunately, data is telling otherwise, and there have been some research where the technology is really benefiting those that are affluent and educated, and those that are marginalized are falling behind.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that contribution. I just wanted to, as we round off this session about biases, I also wanted to point out and get your feel on, I think, how do we handle, because so one of the sessions yesterday, a lecturer actually asked the question that he teaches Yoruba, and he has also realized that there are little or no resources that these AIs can generate and provide for him in his research and in his teaching, which is quite true, because I've also engaged in a conversation around that area. So for developing world, Africa, Asia, how do we ensure, or how do we go about it such that we are also we have access to data that are sourced from such locality? Because whatever you do now, most of the data that is being used to train these large models are not data that are domiciled in some of these countries. So the cultural components to data and to these results are lost in the middle of it, because the source of training isn't localized. Dr. Bosse, do you want to speak to that that situation?
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of the things that I appreciate a lot about Malaysia and a few other countries in Asia is the fact that as early as they can, they try to do their own thing instead of living on what is provided from elsewhere. So, and I think that's something that we have to do. That's something that Africa and other developing nations have to do. No one will be more concerned about your situation than you. So for for those nations, I think right now we see growth in this field. We see what nations are doing. I believe national systems also have to respond to that in developing nations, because if we don't do it, I mean, you cannot expect another nation to get your data and help you with this. So you have to, I think systems have to respond to doing this in-house at national, maybe at institutional level too. We can start from institutional levels, we can start at regional levels, and then there could be corporations, I mean, corporations across regions or across countries within the African region, for example. And this can help us to also arrive at where we want to go. Maybe people like Mr. Thaddeus, who are probably based at home, would also be able to find a way around such things at local level.
Before we move on to the next session, Dr. Sasha, do you have anything to say around the areas of localized content and data for large language models?
I think so that especially countries and institutions are able and have enough money to train the large language models, publish language models, enable their usage of those language models localized. I think with the AI, we're supposed to go to the global understanding and global data. Currently, yes, the biggest large language models, they are trained for all available data on the internet, even it's a localized. If we check the localization, of course, Raffles University produced the platform, My Teaching Assistant, which is in fact able to provide the lessons in any language. So a language is not a problem currently now. So we can provide a multilingual education. And from another side, if we want to democratize education, that Mr. Edwin was talking before, no, I think with the AI, everyone will be able to get a proper education. Raffles University and our platform, My Teaching Assistant, launched the words, let AI teach you AI. And Raffles University will launch in October Bachelor of Data Science program. Of course, this program will have accreditations, so it's a fully legal program, bachelor, and students from all over the world can get a bachelor diploma, but complete course will be designed, delivered, and student work will be assessed by the AI without any involvement of humans during the course delivery. Of course, to build the proper course, we need to help AI. Human needs to collaborate in this stage. AI don't know how to create a course. All the approaches that we was talking before, oh, we will use the AI, we will create a PowerPoint presentation, and we will use this to teach the students. This is the wrong approach. Because AI don't have a pedagogical aspects and points.
All right, thank you.
Teachers or professors' experience is something that we need to give to AI in order to get the proper course or proper lesson.
All right. I think you've cued us into the next segment that I would like to also talk about, and that's the AI-powered tutoring systems. So my first question is, what's the advantage of AI tutors over traditional tutoring method? And let's start with Edwin. What do you think is that AI tutors' advantage over traditional tutoring methods?
All right. I think in the earlier questions about personalized teaching, both Professor Bossady and Professor Sasa and also Thaddeus did mention that the technology is at the disposal, like, for example, AI tutors can be imbued with adaptive learning technologies. They're able to analyze perhaps the students' answers, and they have a set of rubrics to be able to guide the students along, right? So I would say that the AI robot, AI teaching assistants, would be really useful in guiding students and personalizing the content for students. However, what I feel is that for AI and shouldn't be working on its own independently, right? AI should be used in all practical sense together with humans, or should be the other way around, whereby humans are the one using AI. And I would say that the real benefit from the utilization of AI is actually the human teachers, right? The actual physical human teachers would actually have more time to be spending quality time with the students. So I would say that perhaps like what Professor Sasa was saying, the way that education is going to be delivered, the way education going to be has to be retaught, right? That is, instead of teaching and lecturing down in schools, all of this can be done by a AI teaching assistant. And what happens is that the limited classroom time, the teacher has so little time to be spending with so many students, but that little classroom time, right, where the teacher will then have more time engaging each student in terms of, for example, application, creative endeavor, the project work and coursework, right? So you have more quality time with the students actually physically, right? So I think that's uh, it should be used as a complementary systems, not as one is better than the other, or one replaces the other, but it can be used hand in hand,
Okay.
complementing each other, right? Yeah.
All right, Dr. Bosse, I would like to throw this question to you. How can AI tutors, and if possible, how and if they can, how can they be able to provide emotional support alongside academic support? Because that is the human feel to learning. Learning is not just information delivery. Learning is a social endeavor. Education is social. So how, if possible, can AI be designed to provide emotional support and academic assistance, if it's possible?
Thank you very much. Something happened to me I think this morning. I was searching for something on ChatGPT, and I put a question there. And when it finished answering the question, it said, okay, I said thank you, and it said, anytime you can ask me any question. Good luck with your presentation today at the conference. And I was like, seriously? How did you know I was going for a conference today? So actually, emotional support can come through AI. They can be designed to offer empathy and understanding. They can be made to recognize and respond to students' emotional states. They can offer words of encouragement, empathy, understanding. They can also provide personalized support by analyzing student data. We've been talking about that a lot. They can tailor emotional support to individual students' need. They can offer personalized coping strategies or motivational messages. They can also support students through actively listening to students' concerns and providing a safe place for non-judgmental expressions. This is something that would be a little bit hard for human teachers to do because, we only have 24 hours in a day. We spend maybe a third of that at work, and you have like so much to do that the time is not even enough. So sitting with every student and listening to their tales of woe is not really on your KPI list. So and then AI tutors can also be designed to incorporate relaxation exercises like mindfulness techniques in the course of tutoring students to help them manage stress. They can be designed to offer positive reinforcement, which is also very important in building confidence and self-esteem. They can be designed to offer a sense of community by promoting social connection, connecting students to other peers that are facing maybe similar challenges. And then they can also be trained to identify red flags or potential signs of emotional distress. And then they can refer students to appropriate support resources before it is too late.
Okay.
So these are all ways that we can leverage AI to support students emotionally.
Dr. Sasha, the last time I was at your office, you you demonstrated the AI being able to see a student conducting or writing an exam practically to me. And I wanted to ask, can that same technology be used to get an AI to be able to read the room, so to speak, and read the emotional cues of a student, and then be able to leverage those information to provide emotional support? Do you think that's a field that it's worth exploring?
Yeah, this is not a question. We have a technology. In fact, we already implement this technology. Currently, we are using it just for the final exam invigilation, not for the whole time, because students want to have their privacy while they are using the online platform for the learning. But definitely, this is no question. Technologies are here, and this is something that is available today. And of course, every model can be fine-tuned to trigger to specific multimedia inputs. But now I want to ask you something else. I don't know, are you aware with the huge amount of the research in the world and also in the Rufus University related to the silent reading and decoding of EEG brain signals?
No, I'm not aware.
Currently, there is a lot of research, and Rufus University, I'm leading the research where we are currently able to detect and translate your thoughts with the 74% accuracy. So if you think about a sentence, what are you thinking about? AI will recognize this sentence currently with accuracy. What are you reading about? So still there is improvement in this. But all this research, this is not only my research. There is a huge amount of researchers in the world who are doing the research trying to decode the silent reading. Why? Through the EEG brain signals readers. That's Apple patented earphone that you can put in your ears, and it can read your EEG signals. We are making possible to synchronize the human brain with the AI. So each of our thoughts will be automatically sent to the AI and get answered. Everything that we see, AI will see.
All right. Thank you so
There is
much.
a Japanese scientist who already get it. So everything what we feel, AI will be here as a big brother to give us support. And this is not the future. This is not the future. This is the present. We performed the experiment where AI will read the student mind when they are thinking what is the right answer for multiple choice questions. So in that case, we have 94% of accuracy. That student, when he's thinking about E, it's a correct answer, AI will decode his thoughts and show that this is the correct answer. So in the future, I don't think so we will at all need to have who will need education at all if all knowledge will be available with one thought from you. Everyone who can buy the earphone, which is now under the $100, you can have all knowledge just thinking about the questions. And this is not the future. This is the current research, current result, and what are the current advances of technology. Who will need a university? Who will go to a university if you have all answers for all your questions? University education will need to change.
All right, thank you.
Needs to change, needs to provide critical thinking, social skills, and different hands-on, even the hands-on subjects can be supervised by AI. So I don't see too much how we will, as teachers, as educators, what we need to, in fact, estimate what will be our role in the future of education together with the AI.
Okay, let me move to Mr. Thaddeus. What do you think are the potential drawbacks for AI tutoring system and drawbacks and limitation for AI tutoring system?
Primarily, if you combine what Professor Bossedi had said, it is actually ability to communicate very difficult emotions. You know, everything is about energy. We send energy, and energy comes from word or what you read, what you see. What you see can begin to shape how you begin to react. So if we have tutoring systems that have been able to personalize the teaching approach for me to learn effectively, that I become an A-star student, but I have issues at home. I have issues with my girlfriend. I have issues everywhere. That particular instance is giving me some drawback, I'm not able to cope very well. So the system is able to after having finished my work, the system is actually able to put in some word of energy that can encourage me, that can make me do better at the very least level. But there are serious emotional issues that today AI may not be able to handle. But at the level of personal energy, you may be able to handle that, which speaks to the soft skill of still having the teachers to do this other part, which is why we said the complementary approach of the teachers and AI is what can help us to completely or near completely eradicate drawbacks, because the AI, until we continue to train it, it does not have full understanding of all the emotional imbalances that will come up tomorrow. We, like Professor Sasha said, we must be able to live at this particular level to train this AI. We have to keep adding it. We have to keep updating it. So day zero, he only knows what he knows today. He doesn't know what is going to come tomorrow. So the place of teacher, balancing what Edwin has said and what Professor Abosede has said, is that the teachers have the strength, they concentrate on the soft skill, while the AI concentrate on the teaching ability and little emotional energy to pass for effective. These are the ways that we can begin in our implementation, begin to eradicate or reduce the drawbacks of AI.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have two topics to cover more, but this next topic talks about distant learning. I want us to keep our contributions quite short, so that we can spend more time on the very growing concern in higher institutions as it relates to AI assessment, research, and all of that. But I want to first focus on distance learning in very short responses from all four of you, starting with Mr. Edwin. How do we see, how can AI improve engagement and interactivity in online learning? We know that it will take very self-determined students to go through self-paced learning, because of the fact that it's self-paced. You can do it at your leisure. And then, so how can AI improve this, and what role can AI ensure? How can AI also help in bridging the digital divide in distant learning? We just put those two questions together. Let's start with Mr. Edwin.
Yeah. Okay. There's there's no hard and fixed rule, and there's no real correct answer to that. Simply because earlier I did point out that AI or the technology actually widens the inequity, right? It widens the gap between the haves and the have-nots, right? Because obviously, if you're affluent and you're able to afford the latest tools and the best education, the best infrastructure, right, and that's where you have access to that technology. So that's one point of view, one argument. The other argument, of course, is that the technology or AI is a great enabler and a great leveler as well, whereby by digitalizing a lot of the content, we can actually disseminate this information content to as many people as possible, and bringing world-class education to marginalized community as well. I think that's something that Prof. Hassan and Raffles University is doing as well with their AI robot teacher and even a AI degree, right? For example, yeah. Of course, previously there was there could be a claim, or there's a point of view whereby many of the marginalized communities do not even have access to proper infrastructure, network, and internet. All right, but that.
Oh, I think. Hello. Oh, I think Edwin, your internet has an issue.
Is also being solved. My apologies, I bunch out. Okay, so the connectivity is coming in, and more people are getting access to this technology and education as well. So that helps to narrow the gap between the haves and the have-nots, right? Sorry, I just touch a last point is this. I think we're also seeing the way education is being delivered, and we have a lot of programs now, like for example, Raffles University's AI robot, providing a whole degree program through a AI robot, without even a teacher. And it's another program called 42, not necessarily using AI, but it's a structured curriculum program whereby it's delivered without teachers. That means that the entire program is actually a programming school. 42 is a programming school that is free, and that means there's no tuition fees and there's no teachers, and is a structured program that students actually work on. All right, and I think these technologies coming in will enable more of this type of different modalities of the way that education is being delivered. And of course, then the human resource managers and the companies, right, will then have to relook at how they are hiring these individuals. Data is coming out now, like for example, 42 and some of these programs that have no teachers and no exams. They actually find that the graduates from this program actually get higher median salary than those that goes through conventional degree programs, right? Perhaps because they are working on more application-based tasks. They are training more on creativity and problem solving. So it goes back to what Zach has I mentioned earlier. If most of the menial tasks are automated away, what are our young graduates going to do in the future? And I think that's where they can come into, it's a human ingenuity at work, right? They can work on all the creative endeavors as opposed to the menial tasks, which can be done by the AI.
Okay, Dr. Shasha, briefly, if I may ask, with AI-driven degree programs, do you see that also alleviating the cost of going to school? Do you think that would also reduce cost of schooling? And that's one of the essence of distant learning, that you don't have to be there physically. And if AI is being used to deliver these courses, does that help with the cost of onboarding into such program? We've seen that in online learning platform before the advent of AI. And we've seen that has dropped the cost of taking on courses. I can be in Nigeria and take on a course in Harvard at a very reduced cost. I don't have to be there physically. So do you see AI further dropping this cost in that area?
Yes, of course. In fact, it was my vision when I was building my AI teaching assistant platform to democratize the education, to enable anyone from any village who's having a laptop or computer and internet connection to get a bachelor degree, to get a high education, and don't need to pay the high cost going to the big city, to the university, paying the rental or paying the dorms in this university, paying the food and everything, so they can, all the young people, they can stay in their village, work, have their family, and in the same way they can afford to pay their bachelor degree, because with the AI delivered bachelor degree, we will not, we can, we will reduce the price of the education.
All right.
It will be, I think, currently planned for the Indonesia, India, Nepal, that Bachelor of Data Science degree. This is the 3 years program. Will cost something under the $500.
Wow.
So this is the price that can, because everything will be delivered by the AI. This is the price that first will make very worried different universities who is delivering this program, and I think that market will have his last words about it, and market will make a decision about the quality and usability of this platform. But at least we will give the chance to people to learn, to get the proper knowledge, and to get the knowledge whenever they are.
All right. Let me throw this to you, Dr. Bosse, and then Thaddeus, you can chime in on that. Looking at what Edwin and Dr. Sasha said about AI and cost delivery, in our climb with how traditional we take education, do you think you see the disparity between graduates of university and polytechnic? We are all, we've all seen that. Do you think that will also play out when I go to a physical university and you graduated from an AI-driven university? Do you think the market will will be more, there'll be an acceptance in such certificates? So very briefly, let me start with Dr. Bosse, and then we move over to Thaddeus to respond to that question.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that right now, the system is not ready for that. So if you probably go to an AI-driven university, maybe some employers who are probably my father's age will be wondering if you have just wasted your time, because they have no idea what that is about. So I would say the system generally is not very ready for that. But on the other side of things, we also see that now we live in a global village where even though you are living in Malaysia, you don't have to be working in Malaysia. You can work anywhere in the world. My daughter is based at home. She works in the UK, living in Nigeria. And when you have that kind of opportunity, nobody cares in those places where these changes have already started happening. Nobody cares where your degree comes from. Can you do the job? So if you can do the job, of course, they give you the job to do. So I believe maybe we will get there with time. Right now, we are not ready for it. It might be a bit dangerous, but if you are someone who is proactive in, thinking out of the box and trying to, extend to places beyond home or your local environment to seek opportunities, definitely you can take advantage of that.
All right, Mr. Thaddeus, let me put another perspective to that before you respond, and you can put that together too. Do you think our local universities will be open to offer such programs if the platforms are available and the students are willing? Then you can tie that to the previous question and then just respond.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me answer the recent question. The local universities also play catch up, and you know that the politics, all sort of things going on, they all play catch up. There's no stable technology in any of the local university. They all started with admission, automating admission. After 2 years, when you change the registrar, another person comes in, they change the technology, they keep changing. So they're not ready. Very few universities are ready for that. For example, the Wigwe University, things like that, you may be able to say that they will adopt that kind of approach. But that said, Nigeria and the African community is highly a consuming nation. is a consuming economy. It's a consuming economy. So whatever happens in the developed nation can have great influence back at home. So in terms of adopting AI, fully AI university, if it happens in Malaysia, in England, in America, then I will tell you how it will work in Africa, in Nigeria. Today in Nigeria, and Professor will agree with this, those making decision, the generation making decision are beginning to be the generation that are IT inclined. The generations of people who are beginning to enter into power and money they have been into IT for almost 20 years. My generation, your generation. So we can be inclined to adopt. You can see a tech company in Nigeria that have partnership with Professor Sassa's university, for example, to adopt to have a franchise of the university AI can be brought into Nigeria. And I tell you, Nigerians, you have a lot of millions of people who will use it and they will get their certificate. But we will wait for a period of time to test the quality of the graduate from the AI university and the
Traditional university.
yeah. So
All
I
right.
could say more on this, but thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Can I just give the answer to this? Just very short. Yes, we already test the quality properly, how it's normal in our scientific and educational world. So, of course, we are doing complete classes for Jakarta here from Malaysia of AI. We was having a control group and testing group, and we was testing the quality of the knowledge delivered by the AI and by the face-to-face, and compare this result of our work are published in the international conference for the new education and technology in the Europe, in the Portugal. So yes, we perform complete scientific research and prove our approach. After that, we was sure to go to the next step to offer AI delivered diplomas. Without this step, we will never do it. We follow the proper steps that needs to be done in order to deliver diplomas.
All right. The last question is the big elephant in the room, especially in higher education, which is assessment, integrity of work, in terms of research, and schools. I think we all know the level we should all operate for is that every student is using AI. So how do we assess? How do we check the quality and the integrity of work? Should universities adopt AI references? And how do we redefine assessment? Generally, would you as a lecturer accept a student's work if it is AI driven and it's based on AI, and how would you assess that? So let's start from Dr. Bassett. What's your take on all of these somewhat controversial issues that is still being discussed at the level of education?
Okay, thank you very much. Personally, let me start from there. I encourage my students to use AI. When I'm with them, I use it. I show them how to do prompt engineering. So personally, maybe because I am an instructional technologist, so that's like normal for me. And I know many of my colleagues are also using it. And actually, our university encourages students to use it. The problem I have with students is when they use it, they don't want to use their head at all. They just want to copy and paste. And like I think somebody mentioned something like that yesterday, everything, including the spaces where you're supposed to fill in the gap, you copy and then you paste and then you bring to me. And that becomes very annoying because it shows that you suspended your head and then you just depended on AI. So I believe we can allow students to use AI. I was thinking this afternoon that if there was social media the way we have it now, in the days when we were switching from four-figure table to calculator, we would have had this kind of conversations. But then we didn't have social media then. So I believe that we can't stop students from using AI. We can't stop them from using maybe text generated to answer questions. Maybe for now, we are preventing them from using it in exams, but I'm not sure how long that is going to last. I think the problem we have is that we are not ready to change how we are assessing to match what is going on. We want to continue. I mean, we're starting exams in about a week or two. Some other universities started about a few weeks ago, and some are starting with us. When I looked at the questions, the exam questions, they are the same as the ones we had 5 years, 10 years, 15 and 20 years ago, which doesn't make any sense. With what is going on now, we don't want to change how we are assessing students. So I do ask my colleagues all the time, why do you need to recall questions from students when you know that the answer is online? The question is there, the answer is there. So how does it make sense that we are, wasting papers, wasting time, you waste student time, you waste your own time, you waste institution resources to do all of this. So we need to start from changing what is assessed, how we assess. We need to change credentialing. Without all of those, if we are still doing first class and second class and third class, we're not going anywhere yet with assessment.
All right.
So we need to start from that foundational part.
Okay, so I think, let me put this out there also. I think, like you said, we need to redefine assessment. And I think one of the things we need to do is, which we did when calculator came in. When calculator came in, teachers no longer assess results, they assess steps. So and I think we must also change our dimensions, our assessment models and procedures from assessing product. We must change it to assessing process, the learning process. How did you go about your learning? And I want Thaddeus to speak to that before I move over to Dr. Sasha. So what do you think in terms of redefine, or what are the ways we can redefine our method of assessment, and rather than focusing on product, we focus on the process? So Thaddeus.
Thank you very much. Doctor said it all. It's the leadership, and we must be bold enough to say that the present method of assessment that we do is no longer sustainable, and it does not have the capability to produce the desired quality of practitioners that we want to move our nations forward. I'm going to stay in Africa and Nigeria particularly for this point. You see, the Nigerian system is assessment based. When I was in school, there were several times that I was not in the class, but I know that because I have the ability 2 days before the exam, I will go into the library, I will read everything that I need to read, and I will pass the exam. And that is, I may never remember what the whole lecture was. So the assessment that encourages theoretical successes than practical successes must be dealt with. Now, when we bring that to AI, we must also leverage this, that whatever we are going to be assessing the student on is not going to, because AI now is lettered. You bring lettered question and the guy generates answers, but he really does not know. How do we really understand? How do we gauge? Our assessment must now be result-based and not answer-based alone, and not question and answer-based. We must move. Assessment in Nigeria must be backed by results and not theory. So the theory-based assessment must not be, and in Nigeria, we now did what we call alternative to practical, which wasn't practical. These are the things that is killing the standard of knowledge. And I will tell you what this has caused for us in Africa. productivity, in terms of production. The knowledge in the Nigeria and the African community, we lack the productive knowledge in terms of creative knowledge. So now I can code, but I don't have the capability to write the compiler, the low-level code. I cannot write the operating system, but I can use Java. I can use C++. Do you understand what I'm saying? The assessment has trained me to code in Java, to code, but I don't know how to write the low-level language. I should be able to write the programming language. Now, I have the theory of how the engine in an automobile works. I cannot create an automobile engine. You see, we must move the African community. I said to some people in another quarter that the knowledge that was passed to us from Britain is the theoretical knowledge. So we must, our assessment and our dealing in Africa, and from this platform, and I'm speaking to the world, we must begin to have productivity assessment, not theoretical assessment. That's where I rest.
Edwin, do you have anything to say before I move over to Dr. Sasha? And then we'll just round up with our closing thoughts. Edwin, on assessment, integrity of work, what do you think should be the direction? Very briefly.
Yeah, thanks. I fully agree with the other panelists that AI should be embraced and adopted. I think the former Prime Minister of Singapore, a gentleman called Lee Kuan Yew, said that of the early stages of the internet, not AI, but in the 80s and the 90s, at the early stage of the internet, he labeled it as a necessary evil, in the sense that this technology is of course necessary for economic growth and productivity drive, but at the same time it brings along a lot of other activities that need to be monitored and to be controlled, right? So that's why he called it a necessary evil. Now, coming back to the assessments, that's for students. While we embrace it because it drives productivity, there has to be a structural shift in the way that we deliver and we rethink education. I think the other panelists have already mentioned it already. But maybe I can just give a example analogy, in the sense that we are perhaps going back to the original industry or craftsmanship of medieval times, right? So in the past, if you want to learn how to work with metal, you apprentice with a blacksmith, and if you want to learn how to work with wood, you apprentice with a carpenter, right? And it's you learn by apprenticeship. And then, of course, fast forward in the age of industrialization, where we're building factories and factories and factories. That's where we develop education systems that are producing cookie cutter graduates, cookie cutter students, right? The students are going through formulaic education, and all of them coming out in a formulaic way. Then that's preparing for the workforce of the the industrialization age. And now with the technology today, we see, like, for example, schools like 42 or schools like Raffles University, where they are moving away from assessment-based education and going back to learning by doing, what we call apprenticeship, right, or craftsmanship. And I think that really fits well with what we are saying today, where if AI is going to replace the tedious work and the manual work, and that's where our young students and the next generation will then need to learn how to create things, not just like what they just say, memorize and regurgitate. All right, you have to learn how to be creative and learn how to make things, right, as opposed to answering examination questions or assessments.
All right.
Thanks.
Any final thoughts on that, Dr. Sasha, before we wrap it up?
Okay, we at the Raffles University, regarding the assessments, what we are thinking, there is two types of assessments. If our students are taking online courses, of course, assessment will be done by the AI, and it will be done by the AI proctoring system that we have incorporated in our platform. So this is not too many problems. Student cannot open any tab cannot open the new browser, AI can see the students, can see anomaly and recognize anomalies in student behavior. AI can hear if student asks someone else for an answer. So AI proctoring is something that it's perfectly good for the online platform, because student cannot do anything, cannot open another browser, cannot open another tab, cannot look to another computer because his behavior will be detected as anomaly by the AI. And AI proctoring we already implemented in our teaching and learning platform. Second direction is assessments are our standard final exams face-to-face, but in these final exams, we also developed for the teachers and for the professors at Raffles University 2 tools. First tool, it's a final exam creation tool, which will take in account first domains of the student knowledge that we want to focus on. So is it a cognitive, or is it a psychological, or is it an affective domain of the student knowledge? Then it will take account course learning objective, program objectives, and of course course outline. According all those parameters, AI creation tool will create the final exam. As a peer with the AI creation tool for final exams and for the essays, we have a AI supported assessment, and we do the research, check the consistency of AI assessments through the few repetition, check the cross consistency comparing with the human evaluators, and we are getting perfect results. And we implemented already AI assessment tool, of course, which needs to include assessment rubrics and needs to include criteria for the assessing. We included in our platform, and from September, since now it's already end of the semester, and from September, all professors at Raffles University will use these 2 tools for the face-to-face teaching, for the final exam creation, and for the automatic AI assessment. But for the online teaching in our platform, we will use the AI proctoring system that is incorporated with our platform.
All right. Thank you so much for this session. I think we have just rounded up here so that we can move into the next session. We're already getting into it, but I really want to appreciate every one of you. Edwin, thank you. I know of your engagement today, but thank you for finding the time to join. Mr. Thaddeus, thank you so much. On behalf of the community, I want to say thank you for taking out time to be here. Dr. Bosse, thank you
very
so
much,
much for your input and your impact. Professor Sasha, thank you also for being part of this. I know how busy you've been. I must appreciate every one of us for the insightful sessions we've had. I saw some questions. We would get answers to those questions and respond to them in some of our other sessions, or put the responses in the chat group, because we need to move to somewhere else. On behalf of everyone, I want to say thank you to both of them, to everybody on this panel. So if you are watching online, or because we have also a huge following on our YouTube now, please just do thumbs up and react and respond to our panelists. Thank you so much. And we'll move into the next session now, which is, I think Dr. Bosse, Thaddeus, and Edwin, if you want to take your leave, that will be fine. Professor Shasha will be walking through the My AI Assistant app for another 40 minutes before we end that session. All right, Dr. Sasha, if you want to do that, you can share your screen. Then you can take it away.
If I can share the screen, okay, I will share my screen. So, okay, where is my? Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, shortly, My AI Teaching Assistant is a platform that's designed to in fact, create and deliver your educational content with support of AI. But in fact, to create, design, and deliver your educational content, it's a simple in the few steps. You will create an avatar, upload your lessons, generate the lesson notes, review the lessons, and publish the lesson. And all the students of our platform will have who are enlisted in our platform will have access to those lessons. Our idea was to use the expertise and experience of the teachers, which is all summarized in our PowerPoint presentations. We know how we are teaching. We know pedagogical approach and the pedagogical aspects that we are using for this platform. Of course, platform can be seen on the website myAIedu.com, and you have a option enter for free, so anyone can try the platform. But I will show you briefly the functionalities of the platform. So in order to log in to the platform, you need to be a registered user, and with your email and login and password, you can log into the platform. As you can see, platform organization is that we're having the modules, and each of the modules having a lessons. Those are the, let's say, this is the one module, Intelligent Agent Design, that students from the Jakarta was listening in our research, and they are actively listening our lessons that are delivered by the AI. But what is the process? First of all, we want to make AI technology more interactive and make it implement gamification of the AI, especially for the online training. So first step, it's for the lecturer, it's to choose the predefined avatar who will represent him, or upload his profile photo and create custom avatar. When we create a custom photo and create a custom avatar for the VIP users, we also enable cloning your own voice. So it means that person who will deliver your lesson will have your clone who will deliver your lesson, will have your face and will have your voice. Everything can be done online. So when we choose any of the lessons, let's delete this one. What we will do? Open the new module. When opening new module, we will have a new module, and we can say the new module. After that, we can open the lesson. Open the lesson means what? We will give some introduction. We will give some lesson description we want, and lesson will be created. Now, platform requires from us to upload some of the slides in PDF, our PowerPoint slides that we are usually using for our, let's say, from the Jakarta teaching introduction to computational thinking, I will upload this slide. When I upload the slide, I can save the lesson. When I save the lesson, my slides will be sent to the AI tool to generate the text for our slides. So, of course, I will submit the slides and go back. So it will take 1 minute or 2 minutes for AI to analyze and elaborate our PowerPoint slides. So AI will create the text notes for each slide automatically. So if we have a slides for our module, for our subject that we are teaching, we can use those slides. Or for whatever, if you want to do something else, you can create the slides and make some points of the slides, and AI will create the text notes. Here, text notes are created. Let's see what we get. So this is the slide, Introduction to Computational Thinking by the Rutgers University. This is the text automatically created by the AI in order to be introduced to the students. So we can say, today we can delve fundamental concepts of computational thinking. What is the first concept we will explore? Abstraction, it's a process. So what is the lecturer or professor or teacher job will be now? Say, okay, yeah, this AI maybe is talking too much, but let's say first I will add lesson name, do introduction, computational thinking, whatever. Okay, when we add the lesson, we can add the lesson name just to give to AI a main topic. During the lesson, and we can say, okay, this is too much text, I don't want too much text. Let's say those questions that AI asking us, I don't want it, so we can refine, check and refine. We cannot enable AI to teach our students. We need to check what AI generated and design lesson according our preferences. Let's say if we said, okay, this is okay, we will go to the next slide. Next slide, it will be course learning outcomes. Next slide, it will be the assessment. Next slide, it will be introductory, what is the computer thinking. So we will do this, but it says, okay, AI already offered me some question. So I will insert the question prompt and add this question in my lesson. What did I do now? I defined what AI will ask the student during lesson delivery. Also, I can add the video link from the YouTube as an additional multimedia content to my lesson. So I will just add the video link and copy and paste the video link from the YouTube. So in my lesson, published lesson, in my lesson, I will have a video link also. So of course, let's go to the different slides. We can change and redesign the lesson according our preferences. So here, what is the pattern recognition? I will also ask the student to explain me what is the pattern recognition. So this platform enables the lecturers to design each lesson perfectly to make interaction between the AI and lesson. And of course, when we are ready for the lesson, but I will make this lesson a little bit smaller, just to show you how it's working, because we don't need too much text in this lesson. I'll just delete the text just to make process faster, because now in the next step we need to publish our lesson. So okay, so let's see. Okay, this is okay. Okay, let's say only one sentence just to have it faster generation. So we will design our lesson, and okay, we have here question prompts. Okay, and assessment. Again, we will just give one sentence. We will give one sentence for the assessment, and of course, in the introduction, we can also make it small number of sentences to just to speed up the process of the publishing. When we are really satisfied with design of our lesson, how we want to present this lesson to the students, we will publish our lesson. Just as a one-click publish and lesson processing started, we can go now, as you can see, lesson it's in the publishing process. In the new module, our lesson it's a publishing process. So we can click here on the preview on this eye. We can click on the preview to see the lesson, but still is since lesson is still in processing, we cannot see the lesson. In fact, we will, when processing is finished, we will get an email. Processing time depends on the number of slides, number of sentences on slides, number of the question, number of additional materials that we add to slide the two lessons, but can take for 2-3 minutes till 20 minutes or maybe half hour. But we finish our job now. We publish the lesson, and lesson is now in processing. When it's ready for students to view the lesson, where the lecturer will get an email on his registered email address that lesson is ready for the use and for the review. But we don't need to wait for the lesson to be processed here. I can, let me see, since I didn't get any email, supposed to be a little bit faster, but never mind, we can go to the same lesson, which is already published, and click to see what is the result of our design. Oh, we don't want, let's go to the introduction to computational thinking, same lesson. So we can start the lesson.
Lesson name, Introduction to Computational Thinking. Welcome, students. Today, we will delve into the fundamental concepts of computational thinking. Firstly, let's discuss the concept of abstraction.
So, what I want to tell you here, it's a part where we already designed the lesson, and lesson is published. This is the part what student can see. So, student will call the lesson. Here, student can, I just now get email, so our lesson is also published. So student here can ask any question to lecturer, in fact, a clone of the lecturer, and he will get the answer, but answer will be in the frame of the lesson. So AI will not talk with the student about anything else, but he will guide the conversation towards the topic of the lesson, and he will not talk anything else. So,
what does abstraction entail in the realm of computational thinking? Abstraction involves simplifying complex problems by focusing on the essential details while disregarding irrelevant information. Next, we will explore the notion of an algorithm.
So, as you can see,
an algorithm is a precise set of instructions.
As you can see, this is the way where lecturer can deliver the lesson. Let's see our module, since I get email that lesson is processed, and I can start.
Lesson name, Introduction to Computational Thinking. Today, we will delve into the fundamental concepts of computational thinking. Computational thinking involves problem-solving skills using computer science principles.
During the lesson.
Hello. How can I help you today?
What?
Please click Continue to proceed with the lesson.
So, as you can see, a lecturer will stop his teaching, answer to the student question, and ask him to continue, click Continue to continue with the lesson.
Today, We will discuss the breakdown of assessments for this course. Computational thinking refers to a problem-solving method that involves breaking down complex issues into smaller, more manageable parts. It involves thinking like a computer scientist to approach challenges logically and systematically. Slide question. How can computational thinking benefit individuals in various fields beyond computer science?
As you can see here, our AI will stop and ask the student question related to the slide and require student answer. Why? Because AI will capture all the conversation. It will capture the topic of the lesson. It will capture the summarization of each slide, and everything will capture in the history. It will be used to personalize the student homework. So at the end of this lesson, we will get this homework. But I can say how computational thinking in your
Maybe I should come and look for a job there.
is
They took
problem understanding. And I can send my answer to the AI.
Good effort, student. Your answer is a good start.
As you can see here, our lecturer will give the additional explanation.
Computational thinking can indeed help individuals in various fields by providing a structured approach to problem solving and helping them understand complex problems more easily. Keep up the good work. Please click continue to proceed with the lesson.
Okay, now student answer the question and we can continue.
By developing problem-solving strategy, be applied to academic studies and daily life. Jeanette Wing defined computational thinking as a set of mental skills that convert complex real-world problems into a form that a computer can tackle. Computational thinking involves mental skills to simplify real-world problems for computers. Computational thinking is crucial for computer scientists to work with data and create algorithms. How does computational thinking benefit individuals outside of computer science? Computational thinking helps develop problem-solving skills applicable in daily life. Why is computational thinking important in today's digital world? It helps people tackle diverse challenges effectively. Computational thinking is essential for computer programmers working on various projects. It can be applied to automation, virtual reality, and robotics. Computational thinking involves breaking down complex problems into smaller, more manageable parts. This process is known as decomposition. Abstraction involves simplifying things by focusing on important information only, ignoring irrelevant details. It helps in problem solving by breaking down complex problems into manageable parts. Computational thinking is crucial for problem solving and system design, not limited to computer scientists. What does decomposition involve? Decomposition means breaking down complex problems into smaller, manageable parts.
The timing also.
Can you provide an example of decomposition? For instance, planning a party involves tasks like sending invitation,
we don't need
menu
to provide the
planning,
answer.
and
This is
decorations.
how we want to design the lesson. Now, when we reach the end of the lesson, the AI platform will ask students, do you want to create a homework? And if students say yes, okay, because he needs to create a homework, platform created homework, so we can save the homework and we can see the homework here. So as you can see here, we are having a homework. The AI recognized that my answer to the question how computational thinking benefits individuals didn't I didn't answer completely. So AI repeat this question a little bit different, and then ask the key characteristic of computational thinking. How does computational thinking help individuals? To provide examples, and why computational thinking considered valuable skill in today's digital age. So as you can see, AI automatically create the homework, and when we check on the homework and check our lesson, we are ready for what? We will then, in our model, add the participants. Let's say student one and t.com and add these students. So each student for our lesson will be able to see our lesson. But this is not all. As you can see here, when we want to preview the lesson, we can copy link to our lesson, and we can embed this link to any of our learning management systems. So it means that we use my AI teaching assistant tool to design the lessons according to our PowerPoint points, to create the text notes, to use our avatar, our voice to deliver the lesson. And during the lesson delivery, we will give to the students a chance to talk with the AI clone to understand, to ask if they don't understand something, and they will be forced to answer the questions that are asked from the AI clone, because if they don't answer the questions, they cannot continue the lesson. So they will not get the final. Homework. If they don't get the final homework, then they cannot pass the coursework. Let's say for the intelligent agent design, let's take one student and see what this student was doing. So if we log in as a student and what our student will, so as you can see, those are the lessons that our student was listening, because he was enlisted there. He was enlisted as a student who are able to listen those lessons to these modules. Here, as you can see, student can view the lesson and submit his homework, nothing else. He can submit few times homework, but in that case, his grades will go lower. Ideally, it's 2. As you can see, even students can use the AI. Their grades are 60%. So this is give us the chance to see how student is dealing with his homeworks and force him to actively participate in the course. And when students have all the lessons over the 50%, we can say student pass the course work. What we will then do next, we will go to the lesson. We will go to our part, and we will be able, as a new lesson, to create a final exam. And this final exam will be monitored by the AI proctoring system. So here, in this part, I didn't include because I excluded, since I did presentation for Europe and they are not happy to have a camera on during the student teaching, because it's not ethical, but during the final exam, AI proctoring is ethical. So in fact, during the lesson, which will be the final exam question, student will have here space to give his answer, or and AI will check what he is doing. At the end of the final exam, student will get his results on the email, and the lecturer also will get his results on the email. So our platform, in fact, enable to you in the few easy steps, as I showed to you, in the few easy steps to create your avatar and choose your custom image and choose your custom voice, to upload your PowerPoint presentation, PDF format. AI will generate the lesson notes for each slide. Lecturers needs to design and review what AI was doing and publish the lesson. That is the all that a lecturer can do, and we already is using a lot of those lessons. And this part of the platform that I'm showing to you, it's a version 1.0, and as you can see, this is the almost 1 year of the modules that I was creating, not counting another lecturers. Currently, more than 1,000 lessons it is already published on our platform. So slowly, universities are starting to using this platform as not as a primary source of teaching, but they are using as a backup for the students who cannot participate to lesson, for the students who want to learn more, or who wants to repeat and renew and revisit some part of the knowledge that they missed during the semester. So they will always have in our platform access to the lessons related to the module that we are teaching. And of course, members of Raffles University Group are actively using this platform. Also, IPB University in Indonesia, it's a user of the platform. UKM, Malaysian University, it's a user of the platform. There is a few universities in the Europe that started using the platform. So this is the platform. Yes, presents a future of education that makes you quite easy to create and deliver the lessons. And everyone, in fact, every university and every person can be a member of our platform. Of course, there's some pricing for the professional use. It's $2,000 per year. Or for a starter, for 5 lessons per module, one module, it's like, I don't know, $150 per year for the 5 lessons, one module and 6 predefined avatars, and $3,000 it's or euros. It's a price for the university where you can choose the complete program to be delivered by our teaching assistant. Of course, you can always check the live demo, which is the in the same time it's a user manual, or you have option to enter for free, where you don't need to do anything else. You can just add inside your email address, and you will be able to test how platform is working, to upload, to create only one new module and one lesson, and test the platform how it is working. Of course, you will not be able to create an avatar, but you can choose the sum of predefined avatars for your testing. So this platform can be used for free for testing, or you can contact Raffles University in order to order or just to pay the prescription or the membership subscription to become a member of our platform. We will deliver the technical training, and depending on the model of you're using, of use of the platform, you will get a number of lessons and free open for you and your teachers to use this platform to ease the work in the higher education. This platform version 2, which with integrated lesson assessment, essay assessment, and final exam preparation, together with a multilingual version. Everything will be in the version 2, which will be live in the September. And this version 2, in fact, will be used for the delivering the Bachelor of Data Science completely online. Okay, if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer to your questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sasha. Can we all hear me? Okay, we have a few questions here. Some of them goes back to the session we just had that finished. So the first question is, who owns the data collected by the AI system in higher education, and how will we protect student privacy with increased use of AI? So on the platform, as with every AI platform, who owns the data?
This is defined by the legal documents that you can find on our platform. So we are not collecting any personal data. Question and answers are not personalized because they are under the code. They are not personalized, so we are not collecting. What we have on our platform, it is your PowerPoint presentation that is in fact used to create an online lesson. This PowerPoint presentation, it's owned by you. It is not owned by the platform. So when you decide to stop your membership, our platform, in fact, Raffles University, who is the owner of the platform, will be an obligation to return to you your PowerPoint presentation in the PDF format. But it is the same for every platform where you upload anything on the internet. Data related to the students are not saved forever on the platform. They are saved in the one session in order to personalize the homework and personalize the question. After that, this data about students' conversation is not saved on the platform. We don't want to have a problem with the privacy issues, so we strictly follow the rules about security on the internet and privacy issues on the internet.
All right, thank you for that. I think another question. Let me look for that. Okay. This is yesterday. Okay, so my question is, somebody's question is, how will studying courses like nursing, medicine, engineering that requires practicals be replaced with AI in distant learning?
Now, in this transitional period, of course, this platform, when we are talking about the computer science and AI, then it's pretty easy. Student will upload his code, AI will mark his code. This is not such a big problem. But for the hands-on experiences, and we have two approaches. Webcam and AI will follow your steps, or it will give you the video as a guides how supposed to something be done, and then use the webcam and our AI proctoring system to estimate, are you performing this job or this task properly or not? Because AI is current, our platform is able to see and to hear the student. When we have those information, we easily can analyze, is it a correctly performed job or a badly performed job? We do the testing for the traffic data set of the videos, where we was testing the ability of our solution to detect anomalies as a car crashes on the highway. We have 100% accuracy that AI will differentiate or classify car crash as anomaly and alert the someone, whoever. So no one now needs to watch the CCTV. AI will watch the CCTV, and when AI figure out that there is some anomaly, then it will alert us. Same we can implement in our platform. But of course, we will need to, in this transition period, we will need to have maybe blended mode of the teaching. Something will be done by the face-to-face. But of course, that's course curriculum and module outline will be adjusted to the online approach to the teaching. Now we have a lots of online courses, of course, and they are all done without any exercises. So most of online courses. So I don't see how this AI platform will be different. It will not be different. We can just add more technology, and we can add more technological functionalities to our platform to ensure that we can deliver and provide the bachelor degree completely. Of course, human will prepare and design the lesson following the pedagogical rules, and after that, everything else will be done by the AI and can be delivered to the thousands and thousands of students 24/7 without being tired and without being wrong in something. In fact, even AI is not right always, but humans are not right always too. So if we are talking about the 97% of accuracy of the AI when we are generating the classes, so then it's okay. Again, we are better. AI is better than humans.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. I can't see any more questions. EDK, do we have any questions? You can come on. Do we have anybody with questions?
No, we don't have any that I can see.
All right. I think.
Okay, I posted here link of AI platform, so anyone who is more curious how it works, he can go to this, follow this link, and choose the enter for free and check how platform is working.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sasha. It's been a wonderful time. I want every one of us to just react by clapping your hands and just waving your hands and showing our deep appreciation to Dr. Sasha for coming on board to engage us. We really appreciate your time with us, and it's such a wonderful time to have you here. Okay, so we'll be ending this session now. Dr. Sasha, you can just exit when you're ready to.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
So we'll be going into another session now, and I'm going to start sharing my screen so that we can see.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Hello. So I think there are a few questions from the attendees.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, Dr. Sasha has dropped off, but I think Dr. Bossa is here, so I'm going to bring her on so she can. I don't know if she's able to, but so raise the question. Let's see if we can answer that. We have just one more minute before the next session. So
okay,
what's the question?
Ms. Bulus Fanduma, could you please ask your question? Unmute your mic and ask your question.
And I think sometimes it's better if we also
Okay.
type those questions.
Go ahead. Okay, Michael.
Okay.
So what's the question?
My question is that I try using the AI tools that were learned yesterday during the yesterday session
Okay.
to create lesson notes, slide presentation, worksheet, and quiz.
Okay.
But when I started evaluating the output, I discovered that it was not tailored to WAEC, NECO, and JAM examination bodies, curriculum, and examination questions.
All right. So
And it's a serious challenge to me because my school's selling point is a result from such examination bodies.
all right, I think that's a pretty simple thing. Again, like we said, AI gives you a platform to work from so that you don't have to start from scratch. But you determine what you want the AI to respond to you with. So the more you tell it in specifics what you want, the better it's able to provide you with substance. So for example, in your case, you already have a curriculum, WAEC curriculum. So you can extract information from those and get the AI to work just based on those things. Remember, the more specific you get, the better your result. In the next session that I'll be handling in the afternoon session, I will guide you with how you can take documents. So for example, you can get the WAEC curriculum document that you want to build a lesson plan from, upload it and tell the AI to limit everything to that document. So you have your, like I said, you have your course content, you have your learning objectives, you have your learning outcomes that are predefined and have been built by the examination body. You can use that as the resources that you are providing for the AI to give you what you want. So we'll look into that more deeply. But again, the answer to that is you will need to determine what you want to get from him. It's just like having a conversation. You have the ability to steer the conversation in the direction that you want. Don't leave everything to AI. Don't be very vague. Be very specific, because AI pulls from a data set that is very broad. So that's why being specific and being very detailed in your specific requirements is very necessary. I think during the next session, I will also speak more to that. All right, so we're going to go forward with the next session, and we're going to bring up Lisa. She'll be the one handling the next session. I'm just going to share my screen now, and then we can proceed with getting Lisa on stage. So Lisa will be talking about leveraging AI for personalized student learning and engagement. During this session, educators will understand the core functionality of ChatGPT, including its natural language processing capabilities, and explore application in education settings. Educators will explore how Canva can be utilized for classroom activities and fostering a collaborative learning environment. Educators will also learn about Flint and its role in automated student assessment, focusing on its ability to grade assignment, provide feedback, and identify areas where students may need additional help. So without further ado, I'll just bring Lisa up, and then she will take it up from there. So every one of us, please help me welcome Lisa to the call. You can just wave your hands or clap your hands and just show some sign of appreciation. Thank you, Lisa. It's so good to have you here. It's a privilege also for you to be amongst us to share your experiences with all of these tools with educators. And I believe that every one of us will learn a great deal from you. Thank you. You can go ahead and share your screen.
Thank you, Rutimi. Good morning, everyone. It's been very interesting this morning, so thank you to all the other speakers as well. It's been definitely eye-opening, and I've been sitting there like, I maybe agree with that, and maybe some of the things that I'm going to say in my presentation today actually maybe go a little bit against some of the things that have been said today. But I'll kind of dip in and out on what has been talked about today and yesterday. So just to give you a little bit of background, I feel like I'm like this mere mortal teacher who is in the presence of absolute greatness, because my experience with AI is rather limited. So today I'm going to be giving my views based upon how to use it in a classroom with students, any age, any background, whereby they have personalization and lots of student choice. That's kind of part of my educational philosophy. And one of the reasons that I kind of delved into artificial intelligence this year is because I took 3 years out of education to raise my daughter. I'm with my husband, no family or anything in Malaysia, so it was a little bit difficult to do that. So I took some time out, and then coming back, I was like, whoa, only a few years, and there's basically been a technology revolution. And so, the more I read into it, actually, this has happened a few times during my career as a teacher. Calculators were about when I was a teacher, but computer technology, Google, and now artificial intelligence has just completely exploded in terms of what we can do with it in education, but it obviously does pose some difficulties for us as well. And so one of the things that was talked about today that I noticed was, will AI replace educators? And, there was a bit of yes, it will. And I'm kind of saying the opposite. I'm saying that I feel it could, and there definitely is an argument for that. But for it to be used authentically and meaningfully, we need educators, we need bodies, warm bodies in the room. And so I'm kind of coming at it from a view that the use of AI is actually, it makes us more important than ever. And so basically, I'll kind of be going over with you today how to guide your students in using AI. So the kind of 3 things that I'll be looking at today is ChatGPT, Canva, and Flint. So obviously ChatGPT and Flint has been well discussed. So I'll not really go into the ins and outs. I'll just kind of talk about it, how I used it personally and how you could use it in your educational settings. And Canva, I will kind of just put out a disclaimer here. I had actually used another program called MageSpace, but when I was kind of making sure that all my links were working and everything for today's presentation, I noticed that MageSpace is just completely different to how I used it before. So this coming school year, I'll be using Canva, and it was kind of a personal goal of mine to figure out how to use Canva properly and to its full extent anyway. So yeah, just bear in mind that I'll be talking about Canva today, but there is also another program called MageSpace, which is useful as well. So one of the things I kind of want to delve into with regards to ChatGPT is when I was kind of reading about it, and one of the things that I didn't realize is that it's actually been around a little bit longer than I thought it had. I thought it was, brand spanking new to us last year. One of the things that I have been looking at is its natural language processing capabilities. I work with students from all over the world, and currently, and in every single school setting that I have worked in, it's been a very diverse group of students globally. And so I thought, well, that's really interesting and very helpful for us as teachers, and I'll delve into that a little bit. But if you want just now, so I've given you a little prompt there that you can copy and paste. What I can do to make it maybe easier is I can give you the PDF link. So I'll give you some links to the presentation that I'm sharing with you today. I'll just put that in the chat and you can feel free to use that if you wish. That should be it there, I think. Yeah, there we go, right at the bottom. So if you want, you can go into ChatGPT and just copy that prompt. Please summarize ChatGPT in terms of its natural language processing capabilities and various applications in educational settings. And so when I first started out this year, I thought, what sorts of things can I use ChatGPT for? Like, surely it's going to be very helpful. And I was kind of Googling and I thought, well, why not ask ChatGPT? So it gave me this really nice summary using that specific prompt there. And it also told me about those natural language processing capabilities as well in terms of its language understanding. One thing that I just want you to note is if you are typing that prompt into ChatGPT just now, compare your answer that you have in ChatGPT to what I have there on the screenshots on the presentation. It may be a little bit different, and this is just something that you have to bear in mind when you are teaching your students. It is personalized, you know, so their questions will be answered specific to what they've asked. But what I mean is sometimes it's really helpful to give them specific prompts, especially if you're a little bit tight on time. So if you want them to find out specific answers, it is quite nice to just give them prompts. But even within that, you're going to get kind of varied answers. So it's just something for you to think about. I'm not saying it's a negative thing. I like it, but it's just something to bear in mind when you're planning using AI there. So I'm going to go over a number of activities. I think there was maybe 6 activities that I'm going to go over today. Sorry, 7 activities. This is the first one. So at the start of this 2023 school year, so this was bearing in mind I hadn't been teaching for a few years, I kind of did my usual of what I usually do with my classes. I'm a science teacher, so I like to teach them about how to research properly, how to use Google properly and Google Scholar, how to cite the work that they refer to in essays and presentations and things. And this year I included how to use, well, this particular one, how to use ChatGPT properly. So this image here is from Ditch That Textbook, which I had noticed that Ken Morrison had spoken about yesterday. He was actually the person that got me on to Matt Miller and all his Ditch That Textbook stuff. But this is a specific image that I used, and I just thought it was a really good conversation starter with the students. So you can see there it's got a spectrum, if you like, from human generated to AI generated, and it's got some statements there. And this is, if you like, the answer that I was kind of looking for. But even then, it's not particularly, the students might argue that certain things go in different places. So what I did was I printed out, I think it was 4 copies for 4 groups. I cut out the statements and they had to line them up from human generated to AI generated. Once they did that, they then got to go around and see what the other groups did and had an opportunity to change their statements in their spectrum. We then came together as a class and we discussed the statements, and so it was just a really good opportunity for them to think about what is human generated and what is AI generated. It's not so black and white. It is a spectrum, and what is allowed at our school, what is allowed at the university that you're going to go to, what is allowed in, you know, my science lab. And so it's very, very, it can be subjective, it can be very open to interpretation, but it is definitely something that all educators, I feel, needs to be discussed right at the start of the year. And so we did this, and it took up a whole lesson, which was fine. So the following lesson, we then did a Socratic seminar. There's a link to a rubric and things that I use for that if you want to do that. Yeah, and so as you can see, even though this lesson was completely about AI, it was a completely tech-free lesson. There was conversations, there was group work, there were, there was handwriting, there was manipulatives. And so this particular lesson could be used by anyone, for anyone. You can differentiate this for higher education. You could differentiate it for elementary. It's a pretty straightforward lesson that I hope would be useful for teachers who are hoping to incorporate AI into their lessons this year. The second activity so that first one, as I mentioned, was done right at the start of the year. This particular one I used with grade 9 at the end of their first unit. So it was the history of life of Earth. Again, this was a completely tech-free lesson. But what I will mention just now is it did actually mean that I had a lot more work to do. I just wanted to do it because as tech-free, because we had a couple of lessons before that were on the computer. So this particular lesson we were using ChatGPT as a sort of pen pal, if you like, someone to write to. So in the way that I particularly did it, this year, students individually wrote letters to ChatGPT. So they hand wrote these letters. They asked questions about the unit. They shared their thoughts on the unit. It was a very open-ended task, to be honest. I then took in these pieces of paper, and then I read through them and kind of picked out questions and put them into ChatGPT, got the answer and printed them out. And then the next lesson we then discussed. So the students individually got to see their answers, and then we shared them as a group. It was a lot of work on my part. However, what I will share is that it was good in that I got to read through all the students. It also, randomly, they gave me a little bit of feedback on how I taught the course as well, which wasn't the whole point of it. But, it was just really nice to read all of them. However, it was a lot of work. So what I plan to do is to keep it tech-free, but to get a little bit more group work and collaboration involved. So we're going to do group letter writing task instead. But really, again, it depends on you as an educator. It depends on the students you have in front of you, their ability, their age, their background, how many you have. I mean, I did this with a class that would have been 15, so quite a small class. But if it's a lot smaller than that, then yeah, it would be more suited to doing individual students. So moving on to the third activity, and going more into what I'd mentioned earlier in terms of ChatGPT's language capabilities. This one's quite a fun one for the students, and it's, as I said, so for example, the lesson that I used this in, I had students from China, from Korea, from Saudi, basically all over. And so, they have their own languages, and within our own languages, we obviously have our own dialect. And what I said to the students was, a lot of people, when I meet them, they go, "You're Scottish, you don't sound Scottish." And, I don't sound like a lot of the Scottish people on TV, but, within Scotland, we have so many different accents. And where I live, and where I am right now, 10 miles down the road is a completely different dialect. And I'm sure that a lot of you can relate to that. So I was like, right, I'm going to see. There's no way ChatGPT will know my specific dialect. So as you can see there on the screenshot, I said to him, "Right, you wee handful like Pally, I just want to kind of about ChatGPT, help me out, Bob," which basically means, "How are you, darling? How's it going? I would just like to know about ChatGPT. Can you help me, please?" And as you can see, "All right, pal, fit like." if you're asking about ChatGPT, no bother. ChatGPT is just an AI chatbot designed to help with all sorts of questions and tasks. It can provide help with writing and give general advice. Just let me ken what you need and I'll do my best to help you out. So it's not completely the same, but you know, a lot of those words are definitely the dialect that I would use. And so I would be interested to know, does it know your specific dialect? And this kind of like leads me into, and I'm gonna get into this in a little bit more detail later. Obviously coming from Europe, the western part of the world, it's going to have a lot more bias towards that. As we all know, AI is bias. And so I would be very interested to know if certain parts of the world, if it did include your specific dialect. Let me know in the chat or the Q&A if you want to comment on that. So that was the kind of first part of that lesson. The second part of the lesson, we were using ChatGPT as a study buddy. So in this particular lesson, we were using computers. As a teacher, if your students don't have access to a device, you can prepare this in advance. Now, even though I work in a school that's pretty well funded, we don't really work with a lot of textbooks, but especially when I'm working with AP, where it's a very specific content course, I kind of need, you know, these questions and information. And so I think what's quite useful about ChatGPT is you can put in a specific title of a book. So in this case, I've put, please write 5 questions based on Barron's, who's the author, AP Biology, 6th edition, chapter 2 on biochemistry. So I'm being very specific, okay? And so the students do this. You can do this at any part. You can do it at the end of a unit. You can do it at the end of the year, whatever you like. It can be homework. It can be classwork, whatever. So they were allowed to use broken English in their prompts. So it kind of led on from their dialect. However, the work that they handed in to me needed to be handwritten in English. We are an English speaking school, and they take English speaking exams. Okay, so it's nice. I just feel like it's just creates nice environment in the classroom where, you know, it's a little bit fun, but at the end of the day, I do want proper answers. And so, yep, they put that in there. However, the kind of catch here is with ChatGPT is you can see here that it has generated 5 questions, and it says it's based upon chapter 2 biochemistry from AP Barron's Biology 6th edition. However, this book was actually published, I don't have it with me, I think it was 2023. So in reality, the version of ChatGPT that I was using doesn't actually know what's in that book. So I can tell from the questions that it's asked, it's actually pulled this from a previous edition that it obviously does have access to. So even though the questions are fine, the particular chapter that I was looking at was only about water, not about other macromolecules. So you can see that it's asking for questions about proteins and things. So that wasn't relevant to the actual chapter that I was asking for. However, you can buy the newer version of ChatGPT, which I believe is 4.0, or it was the last time I looked, and it would be able to help you up until April 2023, I believe. So, you know, again, there's the kind of positives to that, there's the negatives to that. You can use this as a fully tech lesson. You can use this as no tech at all, and it can just be helpful to you. So we're going to move on from ChatGPT, but there are a couple of links there. I could really go on about this all day. One thing I'll not go over today because I want to maybe have a bit more experience myself is how it can help you write tests. And there are a bunch of other activities there as well. So moving on to have a look at Canva, this was part of a lesson which I loved. I'm not going to lie. I did it over 2 lessons, so approximately 2 hours, and it was split into kind of 4 parts. So I've got lesson 1A and B, and then 2A and B there. So Canva, if you're not aware, is it's an online program where you can, I mean, I used to use it to make invitations, and there's a free version. We're lucky enough in our school to have a premium subscription, so it gives you, you know, like more images and more fonts or whatever. But in particular today, what I'm going to speak about is its image generation. And so you can give it prompts and it'll produce an image as a result of that. So as a biology teacher, I did this as a very kind of basic introductory lesson into pedigree charts and genetics and inheritance. And so basically what the students had to do is they had to choose 2 known celebrities, and then they had to write prompts to create realistic images of their children and then the children's children. So in other words, grandchildren. So we did that for the first part of the lesson. Once these were produced, the students then paired and they shared feedback to each other based upon the rubric that I gave them. Again, for this particular one, it was a very basic rubric, and I've shared that with you in the presentation there. And then they gave each other feedback. And then whilst they were applying that feedback, I then went round the class and also gave them feedback. Again, this is all verbal. So formative feedback, if you like. So that was the first lesson. And then the second lesson, they started making their pedigree charts, and they used Google Drawings for that. But again, you really could use anything for that. And then that last part of the lesson, they used their rubrics again to make sure that everything was good to go. So we've got some examples of student work here. So this is 2 pedigree charts, as you can see. So we've got Yeet with Cardi and Playboy Carti with Ice Spice. The kind of interesting thing about these particular activities is I get to know who they're into. So, you know, it really goes kind of beyond AI at this point. And as you can see here, one of the reasons I loved this activity is because it really opened up some super interesting and important conversations. One of the main ones that I touched upon right at the start of the year with them, but, you know, they don't really get to know it until they kind of experience it, is the bias that we have in real life and specifically AI that I had mentioned earlier. I have a link to a really nice article about that there. That took up a lot of time in our lesson, us talking about this, and it kind of led on to a lot of other really important topics such as racism and skin color. It was really nice in that I found out about their families. And then we got down to what we should have been learning about, right? Inheritance, genetics, nature versus nurture, and how to produce a pedigree chart, essentially. So my kind of point here is we used AI to do this, and it was super fun for the students. Honestly, I do kind of feedback forms on a lot of activities and things, especially if they're new activities. And I didn't have one negative feedback for this. It wasn't perfect, and, you know, I plan on making it better for next year. But yeah, really enjoyed it in terms of the conversations that came out of it. So apart from making pedigree charts and the likes, you can use it for a lot of other things, such as creating flashcards and other materials. I plan on using it for an evolution project this year, whereby I just got the students to draw a mutated organism, whereas this year I'm going to get them to use the AI. I just didn't have time to incorporate that in this year. So there's a couple of other activities that you can have a look at as well. So lastly, we'll move on to have a look at Flint and how I used this. So Rotimi had sent out an email to the teacher saying, there's this new program. And I was like, all right, I'll just have a look because, it's something I'm interested in. And to be honest, it came at the best time. I was organising prom and graduation, and I still had to study with the students. And I wanted to do something meaningful and personalised whereby they had choice. And I was really struggling, and I'm not going to lie, I was like, right, I'm just going to do like old-fashioned, like straightforward review lessons with them. But when Rotimi sent this, it was like, I thought, great. So I dived right in. Again, my lessons weren't perfect, and I can't wait to make them better for this coming year. So I did it in 3 sections, like 3 different lessons that kind of built upon each other. And I did it with grade 9 integrated science and also grade 11 IB biology, both higher and standard level. So that just kind of shows you the range of students that you can use Flint with there. So the first thing I did was the chat tutor. Once I kind of figured out Flint, and it didn't really take me that long to do that. And as I said, I'm not like super tech savvy. I set it up. It was very straightforward to set up. And it was personalized to the lessons I had taught. So I'm using the population example. So this was with IB higher level as well as standard level biology. So I just uploaded the PDF of slides that I had made myself into Flint, and it made its own set of rules. You can edit those, very straightforward. For this particular activity, I got Flint to grade, but the students could see the grading rubric, and I just went with the grading rubric that Flint gave me. To be honest, a little bit of time saving, and also I didn't really have any problems with it, basically. And then I gave them quite strict instructions, like very detailed instructions on Google Classroom. And so you can just read that there. So the point I'm getting at here is, even though it was really easy to set up, but it was specific to the notes that I had given to them, I do feel that, we need to share the rubric with them so they know exactly what they're doing. And also, whilst they were working on that, I was able to see exactly what they were typing in at the time as well. So that's the good thing about Flint there. So I'll give you some examples of the student work there, just some screenshots. So this particular student, I think I can remember who this is off the top of my head, gives pretty detailed answers. And so in terms of the rubric that she had been given, she was kind of following that. And so the AI tutor had given her an A, so the best score you can get. As it mentions there, you can override this and add your own personal feedback, but the feedback that I've given there is actually the feedback from the AI. And so it's really in depth. And what I really like about this is you can create a follow-up tutor. And you just press click, okay? So there we go, very personalized. The student kind of has choice in exactly what they cover as well. Yeah, I thought it was great. It went really well. No complaints. The next lesson went a little bit deeper, whereby we looked at evolution. So kind of same, but different. So you can see there that the rules are slightly different. The rubric is slightly different, and I've given them the same kind of instructions there again. So if we have a look at the student work there, this is the same student from the day before, and you can see that her answers are better. And I know there's a lot of variables as to why that might be, but I think she was just kind of getting into working with the tutor. it's important to note that I sit there. That was quite a small class, so I was sitting right at their table with them, helping them with prompts. And there was a couple of times they were like, it's just given me massive things to read. And I was like, well, you have to specifically ask it to ask you questions. That was kind of one of the things that I remember for that. And so as you can see there, it gives some really great feedback. So kind of glows and grows, if you like. And again, with the follow-up. My favorite thing that I used Flint for was this last student activity here. So in IB biology, and at this point, AP biology had finished their exams. This coming year, I plan to use it with AP biology. Both IB and AP have essentially like an extended response. So they do need to practice how to write an essay. This was my favorite thing that I used Flint for, actually. And there was a couple of things that I made different. I changed the helpfulness level. I was a little bit mean. And instead of full, I brought it down to medium. I changed the rules a little bit. The essay prompt is, it contains a lot of detail. One thing that I will mention for the grading is that I took out the fail grade, and I know that's maybe a little bit controversial, but I only had A, B, C, and D. I just felt that with me being right there, the students shouldn't be getting an F. It wasn't a test. It wasn't a summative assessment. However, just to let you know, there is an opportunity for you to put in an F, whereby the student will essentially fail that task. So they still have A, B, C, and D there. I shared the link, and I got some really great work. So I sit with the students, and when they're doing their essay, they're not allowed to go on the internet and copy and paste. They have to sit with their own handwritten notes or notes that they've produced themselves to write their essay, or notes that I've given them. And so as you can see there, you've got sentences and paragraphs and so on and so forth. It's a great essay, and it's the same student who got the 2 A's beforehand. This time she got B. So this student is an A student generally. So you can see there that you can change up how difficult it is for them to get something. I actually, when I saw the B, I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to overwrite that. But then I read through the feedback, and what it did mention there. So you can enhance your essay by integrating more detailed visualizations, which is really what the whole point in that particular essay was. And so I thought, okay, fair play, AI tutor. I'm going to agree with you on that. So I did do at the request of the student, because she is very vigilant, if that's the right word, in going after her A's. I did do a follow-up tutor for her, in which her second submission was in fact an A. And so that just shows growth. I really liked that particular activity, and I will definitely be using that more throughout the year. As I said, I just got Flint towards the end of the year, and so I just used it for reviewing for their exams. So I'm looking forward to looking at how to use it better. And I logged in today, and there's a new version, and so I'm excited to see all the kind of new things there. So there's a bunch of other things that you can do that I've given you links to. One of the interesting things that I want to mention to you is, as I mentioned, I do evaluations, and I do a big kind of end of year evaluation based on my teaching. You can see there that for the things that they found effective, it's all very they liked the labs, they liked making models, and so on and so forth. Things that they felt could be improved, they did mention, or just one student mentioned that using AI for study is not effective for learning because it is a little hard to use, which that was probably because it was my first time using it, and the actual teacher teaching is more effective for me. So I think it's just food for thought. I'm still going to use AI this year, and I'm excited about improving my lesson plans. But I did think that that was very interesting to hear from the students, that they do still prefer us in the classroom there. So based on everything we've talked about, I'm just going to round this up. Some of the strengths of AI, I feel, and that today has been based on, my presentation has been based on, is that it really does tailor to that specific student who is working with the AI. And so it's personalization and it's student choice. However, there is the fact, and this was mentioned in the forum today, that there may be a neglect of social and emotional aspects. However, that kind of leads on to the opportunity there. I feel that educators are crucial in using AI so that we can fulfill those parts. So when we were doing the pedigree charts and the students were pouring their hearts out about the bias that they have come across in their lives before, perhaps the ChatGPT would be able to help them with that. That was kind of discussed earlier in the forum today. But I think they just really wanted a warm body to listen to them, and they wanted to bounce these ideas off the other students in the class as well. Lastly, however, though, and this is one thing that I really wanted to be very conscious of today, is that not everyone is going to have equal access. So at the moment, I don't pay out my personal own pocket for ChatGPT, but I am very well aware that the newest version of ChatGPT is the best. And that's just a really small issue for me. But for students when I taught in the US, for example, I taught in downtown Dallas, and these students, we didn't have laptops. There was one class I had 42 students and we had 15 chairs, so never mind devices, and so I do worry about that it will just create another inequity in education. And that would be my only vice when it comes to AI. But I will finish up speaking here. Thank you all for listening. I've left you with all the works cited, and there are links throughout that whole presentation that will take you there. But if you do have any other questions, I would be happy to share and to answer.
All right. Thank you so much, Lisa. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Thank you so much. It will be a good time for every one of us to just react and show our appreciation by using the React icons. We really deeply appreciate your time here. I know some of us might be expecting whether she was going to show Flint. Because of data privacy, she couldn't display because she'll be showing actual student work. But the session for Flint later today will be a live demo, and so we'll see the practical way of setting it up and how the interface looked like. So most of the people that did demonstration on and spoke about applications that they are using currently, they can't display it to you because they have student records there, and that violates data privacy. I could do all of those other ones that I did because it's free, it's online, and I created instant account while we were doing those demos. So there was no student records, there was nothing on those platforms. It was the ones that I created immediately as we were going through the demos. So just have that at the back of your mind as we go through this training. People that come online to share and they are using those tools, they might not be comfortable with showing you their dashboard because you'll be having access to real student data. Anyways, do we have any questions? I saw some hands are raised up. If you could coordinate that, let's take any of the questions we have before we put an end to this session, and then we'll go on break for 30 minutes and be back for the afternoon session. Do we have any question? While we take those questions. I will just pull up, I'll share my screen. Let's see.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Miss Gloria, are you there?
Yes.
All right,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead and ask your question.
Okay, I said that I've typed it.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you?
Ralph,
Okay. Did you type it in the
I've
chat?
typed it.
In the chat?
Yeah, it's yes.
I can't.
it seems your question has been attended to.
Okay, I was asking that how can one use multiple tools to teach grammar for the AI multiple tools to teach grammar in high school with high school students?
Okay. Lisa, do you want to
Do you hear
speak to
me?
that? Yeah, we got that. Lisa, do you want to speak to that?
Teaching grammar.
Okay, so
Teaching
grammar, so
grammar
like, is
like
it for
clauses, for example,
English
what's the thing
or?
in English?
Yeah, okay. So specifically for English, I feel I always wanted to be an English teacher, but my parents wouldn't let me go and study English at school, so I had to go and do science. And so I always think that, oh, if I was an English teacher, I would definitely use this. And I feel that it's really accessible to English teachers. So for things like grammar, it would be quite interesting as well to maybe get your students to pick up on any mistakes that ChatGPT or any of the other kind of AI tutors have as well, because they are not perfect by any means, because they're working on a kind of plethora of different types of English. So yeah, I think there's definitely lots of tools for AI to teach grammar. And if you go on to it's called Ditch That Summit, I think it's the link on the sixth slide. It's called Ditch That Textbook, sorry. That website specifically there has really nice kind of subject specific free resources, and that's where I've gotten a lot of my resources, and they definitely have a lot for teaching English. Yeah.
I think
So
let me say a few things here. First, one of the ways you can teach literature, reading or English with AI is if you have specific area of topic you want to cover, you can either get the students to write an article or write their articles based on those vocabulary. If you're interested in testing and assessing or teaching them on some vocabularies, you can get them to get AI to write articles based on those vocabulary. And then in classes, you get them to critique or improve on those articles. That's one way. Another way is I'm going to do a demo in the next session that I'm handling on Reading Coach. It's an online platform, and that will also be able to, you can use that too. But you can also, on your own, generate articles, especially if you are focusing on clauses. You can go to any AI platform and ask for ideas on how to teach those clauses. And the generative AI will give you a lot of ideas. You can, if you have a book, for example, that you are working with, and you have a digital copy of it, you can upload it and ask it to give you 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 ideas. I will demonstrate one of it also on how to ask that. You can ask it, okay, can you generate 10 ideas, both offline and online ideas, together with activities on how to do this? And then it will give you all of those ideas. Then you take whichever one you want and then engage it further to say, okay, I want, rather than just ideas, now I want activities that could be handled with this particular one that I preferred. So it breaks it down for you and give you suggestion. Then you as a teacher, knowing your students, knowing the context and the different levels of your students, you can now take that and then put in your own input as the person that is in charge of the pedagogy and the mind behind the class. Then you can appropriate those accordingly. But it's better to start with what you want to do and have that idea of it, and then get the AI to provide you with different options, and give you brainstorm with the AI. In the next session, we'll be looking at assistants in one of the platform, which we'll also be able to use as a teacher to teach literatures and to teach language arts. I think during my session, I will provide more time for question and answer so that we don't eat too much into the time that we're supposed to go on break. I'm just going to share my screen. Lisa, again, thank you so much for being here. It's so great to see you and for you to have this much impact on the participants. If you're done, you can step out while I share my screen and just go through a few slides before we go on break.
Sorry, sir, one more question, sir.
All right, what is it?
Mr. Yusuf Aziz, are you there? OES, are you also there? Could you please go ahead with your question? Unmute yourself and ask your question. Gloria Adeniji, I hope your questions were answered. Yusuf Aziz, this signal OES, are you there? Okay, Mr. Arab today, you wanted to ask your question. Are you still there?
All right. I think we can just round up this session. Stop sharing screen.
Right.
Who set up? Somebody set up a timer. Who's sharing screen? Lisa, are you the one sharing your screen?
I don't think so, Rotimi.
All right, no problem. So just to round up this session, like we mentioned earlier on, we'll keep this conversation going on. So once every month, we'll be having a Teach with Tech series webinar. It's also going to be free. We'll be bringing in a lot of educators to show us how to, and then we'll be focusing. Those are the sessions where we'll focus more on, have longer time and be able to focus more on some of those tools. I also mentioned that, so for the first Teach with Tech series, we'll be looking at crafting effective prompts, the foundation of AI assisted learning. We've learned a lot about, we've heard a lot about prompt engineering. So we'll be looking at having a 1.5 hours to 2 hours webinar series where we will focus mainly on this, and it will be very hands-on. We would announce that everybody come online with their laptop, and we'll be giving activities that we'll do just to guide us through those processes. We also mentioned about the fact that we're doing a survey to onboard educators to help with providing feedback, what you would like to see in an AI-driven app that will be focused mainly on our environment as educators in Nigeria and in Africa. So the links will be shared in the group. Please just fill the survey. And one of the benefits of this will be if you go through the entire process from start to finish with us, whatever app comes out of that, you'll be able to have a lifetime license to use it at your whenever you are able to. So we'll be back in another 30 minutes. We've eaten into that for like 7 minutes, but we'll be back by 1 p.m. We'll start the session with a panel discussion focused on secondary and primary school. And then I'll go into a hands-on session on some of the tools we didn't finish up yesterday, and one more particularly that can be used both in school and at home. And then the next session after that will be a hands-on session on Flint. And the CEO of Flint will also be participating, will be the one walking us through that. Please bear in mind that all of these apps are free. You can use them, and there is nobody is getting paid to get anybody on or to be part of this program. It's all free, and also the presenters are also the volunteer to just be there for us and be impactful to us. So we'll see you guys in 30 minutes. Thank you very much. The session, we'll keep the call on so you don't have to struggle with joining back again. But the live stream will end now, and then we'll transition into the afternoon live stream for those of us that are online. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful 30 minutes break. I'll see you back in 1 hour. Thanks a lot.